Hey kids, it's time to get some SML podcast all up in that.
Whatever makes you happy, man. I'm not going to judge.
Well, it makes me happy. Probably not appropriate for on the air.
I'm excited to see
You're a G-rated show.
Oh, fuck yeah, we're G-rated. What's up, everyone? This is the SML Podcast. I'm your host, Joe. No interview this episode, which is crazy, but guest co-host this week, Stevo Bortz. Welcome back to the show. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing okay. Thank you for bringing me back inside of this tiny box.
And there's a chance we might have a Shael Riley drop by later on as well, who is holed up in your basement, I guess?
Yes, in my asbestos dungeon.
So how you doing?
Okay. Stressed because I am actually dealing with asbestos in my house, but life is going all right. Every week it's a new adventure somehow. We have guests this week who have escaped the hurricane. For the last 2 weeks, been dealing with the house stuff. Before that, it was 2.5 months of being on call and working every weekend. It's been a thing, man.
This sounds fun, man. Sounds like a party.
I did start playing Dead Rising 3 today. I've never played that before. That's fun.
Oh, nice.
Yep. There's a lot of games that I have not had the chance to actually load up and start. Mostly I find myself just going back to playing Overwatch all the time. I can't help it. Once you get to Masters and competitive, you just feel this compulsion to keep playing.
See, I wouldn't know because I don't have a group of friends to play with.
Oh, I solo queue. I do not play with friends anymore because nobody else is high enough to play ranked with me. Well, then I don't have any friends on my level.
I wouldn't be high enough either then. Like, I am god-awful at first-person shooters. Like, every now and then, things will click, and I'll have, like, an amazing game where I come in first, and I get, like, a massive kill streak. 99% of the time, I will be hovering in, like, the bottom couple of names. Because I'm bad.
That's okay, as long as you have fun.
Yeah, it depends on who I'm playing with. One of the big things is, like, I play them casually. And, for example, I've been dabbling in Destiny this week, which we'll talk about much later on in the show, which is one of the craziest things to happen to this show. But I was doing some Crucible matches, and the first game I played, it was me and 3 other randoms against 4 people in the same clan. I think we lost 31-8, and it was to the point where the game was just like, you guys are getting slaughtered, we're ending this. I didn't know the game did that.
Wow.
It wasn't a play to 50 deal. The game ended it early.
That's insane. That's nuts. So there's only been a few games that I have been good enough at where I feel like I could hold a candle to anybody else. Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo was one. The original Counter-Strike 1.5 before it came to Steam was another. The original Team Fortress Classic as well. Unreal Tournament. Basically, the popular games from the late 90s and early 2000s. Maybe that's why I still have the LAN parties, so I can relive those days and feel competent.
Maybe. The only game I am ever consistently great at is Tetris.
Have you tried Tetris Attack?
Yeah, it's not Tetris.
No, I know it's not Tetris. I was just curious.
Oh, of course I've played Tetris Attack.
I don't
Puzzle
know.
League, Panel de Pon.
I've never played Panel de Pon. I have played Puyo Puyo, though.
It's all the same.
It's all color
Puyo
matching.
Puyo's different, but Tetris Attack is Panel de Pon.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, well then I've played it.
It's the same formula. It just goes by Puzzle League now, or Pokemon Puzzle League on N64, I think that version was on. It's all the same.
The one I always wanted to get into but never got the chance was a Magical Drop.
Ooh. Talk to Rez about that one. He'll school you.
All right, he says his username. Let me add the username for him. Invite to group call. Oh, ring, ring. Ring, ring. Banana phone?
Hello?
Banana phone.
Hey, can you hear me?
Holy crap! Yay!
Hey guys, long time no talk.
How you doing, buddy?
You like 3 minutes.
Pretty good. Yeah. Thanks for having me on your show.
How you doing? It took long enough finding out what your name was.
Doing pretty well.
So we're still fairly early into the show. We were just doing like, what have you been playing lately? What's going on? So Shael, what's going on with you?
Cool. Starting a Patreon for the Grammar Club. We're doing great. We've done a lot of songs already, and we're going to start putting out one song a week, like Jonathan Colton used to. And we've already got some patrons. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm very happy about it. I think it's the best music I've done. Some of the best music I've ever done. Maybe the best music I've ever done. I'm very happy with our work. And it's cool. It's been exciting. It's been taking up a lot of my time and energy, and I feel good about it.
Well, I usually save this stuff for the end, but where can people find your Patreon? What's going on? Where can we get in touch?
It's patreon.com/thegrammarclub. And the Patreon opens October 1st, but you can sign up now. And if you sign up, as soon as you sign up, you can hang out in the Discord, chat with us. And there are a couple of posts already for just backers. There's a poll you can vote in that will determine the first music challenge that we're going to do, where we do a song with some constraints decided on by our patrons. Like, there are a list of possible constraints, like all the instrumental is composed of a cappella samples of Beefy, or Ailshawn demonstrates the absolute apex of his shredding ability, or me and Glenn sing in parallel harmonies the entire song. So something gimmicky and novel like that.
I imagine Ailshawn's shredding abilities, it's just a video of him grating cheese.
I'm gonna tell you a secret about that. There's one vote on the poll for that, and it's me. I want to hear Ailshawn shred, but I mean, I can. I've been to MagFest. So.
If you listen, I'm sure. Shael, do you remember Chris, my old co-host Chris?
Vaguely, yeah.
How he had his Blade Mode album that he released a while back at MagFest?
Vaguely.
The song that Sean did on there, he does some pretty heavy shredding on that track. So if you want to hear Sean do a little bit of shred tunage, you should check that song out.
That'd be great. Yeah, I will check it out. I'll check it out after the show.
You should. It's good stuff.
Thank you.
It really is. So
you just
Grammar
called
Club.
yourselves into a corner now.
So what were you guys talking about before I got here?
We were talking about how I'm fucking terrible at first-person shooters.
Are you?
Yeah.
I used to be. I have a spatial reasoning disorder, so I can't move about in the real world. One time
Wait a minute. No. You stepped with me the other day. You were good.
Well, okay. I can move my body, but I can't navigate.
Okay.
I don't have an understanding of space that is average or above. I have a below average understanding of large spaces. So I have low spatial intelligence.
So are you directionally challenged?
I am. One time I was trying to get to the next town over from my college town, Oswego, and I just kept getting on the highway by accident, and I couldn't find like my friends who were 2 miles away.
You're
the point is that I started playing first-person shooters with a colossal deficit, and now I'm a real 4 out of 10.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yay!
You are
I introduced him to Overwatch.
Thousands of hours of work to be just slightly below average.
To be almost decent. Yeah, I have a feeling that when you have kids, you're going to be like. You're going to be that dad that goes out for cigarettes and never returns, and it's just because you got lost.
Oh, you mean Nelson's dad?
Yeah.
It's going to be fun. Going to be fun days.
So I hear we have news to go through.
Indeed, we have oodles of news to go through, and we'll kick off with probably the big news of the week is Nintendo held a Nintendo Direct event yesterday or Wednesday if you're listening to this when it releases, whatever. We'll just go down the list of what was on the Direct. There's some big stuff, some not big stuff. Just we'll cover it all. They kicked off with a Pokemon Ultra Sun and Moon video, and then some of the new features of the game. And they also announced that November 3rd, there's going to be a new Pokeball-themed Nintendo 2DS XL. You guys going to be getting yourselves a Pokeball 2DS?
I already have a 3DS XL, and I'm not, so I understand the appeal of that and how some people would, trade in their devices to get another one. But if my thing's still functioning, I have so much stuff on there. I don't want to transfer it over. Hey, have you seen the economy? Do you think we could afford to buy 2DSs every month? I mean, that's really cool that they're doing it. I like how Nintendo's catering to their fan base with it. I also think that they finally wised up and said, hey, look, people are playing our games. Nobody turns on friggin' 3D anymore, so let's just make the system more affordable and remove the 3D.
I always have 3D on. Always. I love it.
You're the only one. You're
I feel
the
like
only
I
one in
would.
the entire country.
If I owned a DS, I would have 3D on it, but I don't.
Well, with the new 3DS that has like the face tracking, so it stays in 3D if you move your head around. That's how it should have been.
Fine. It's the fact that the hardware in there, even with the improved processor, the hardware, it's just not adequately powerful enough to render things in double screen, like, because it has to render the scene twice whenever 3D is on. Like, there's like a 15 to 20 frame rate drop for so many games. Like Hyrule Warriors Legends game plays perfectly fine, adequate, between like high 20s and 30 FPSs. You turn on that 3D, that thing's gonna chug down to the single digits during some fights. It's a great idea, it's a cool gimmick, and it's great with the face tracking. It just sucks that it's on a system that is now power-wise eclipsed by most mobile devices.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to the Switch 3D when that happens.
I don't think they're going to do that. I think 3D is sort of a passing phase.
The new Switch 3D XL.
I'm looking forward to the Virtual Boy 2. When is that?
I want the Virtual Boy 2.
Well, I mean, they have the Oculus Rift and the other one.
But they're not all red.
5. No.
So, small. You mentioned the Virtual Boy, like ARMS came out, and I thought, man, finally, I get a sequel to Teleroboxer. That was my favorite game on the Virtual Boy.
You had Teleroboxer?
Yeah,
Isn't that game incredibly rare?
This was way back in the day. No, Teleroboxer wasn't that rare. It was one of the most popular games on the system, about as common as the system itself.
It's funny, I've never seen it. I want to play it. I've always wanted to play Teleroboxer.
Worth emulating for. The Virtual Boy emulators are very mature now. There's not really much being done with them.
You can't emulate the Virtual Boy. You gotta.
Yes, you can.
You gotta have the hardware to have it on your face.
You could technically emulate it, but you can't emulate the experience.
Thank you, Joe. Well said. That is my intention.
All the headaches and neck aches that go with it. Anyways, that was a complete
It came with a tripod. No, that still gives you neck aches.
Literally 12 inches tall.
You gotta. I mean, I don't know. You're supposed to lay down on the floor with it or something.
AVGN did it right. Duct tape the fucking unit to your head. That's the only way.
Goddamn right.
Well, that's how you get a neck ache. you use the tripod like a civilized person.
Right.
Don't imitate James Rolfe.
Oculus Rift or HTC Vive. I need a Virtual Boy emulator that can run on that now.
There you go, man.
Have you actually tried a Vive or a Rift? Because they are incredible.
I haven't.
Absolutely stunning. I was overwhelmed. It exceeded my expectations when I put one on and just like did a demo of an undersea adventure where a whale whizzes past your face. It is like better than the best ride at Disney World.
Urinating as it travels past your face.
No, it's not urinating. Wait, what?
The water got really warm.
Did I say that?
Yes,
I said, whizzing. Whizzing. You know what I mean. Come on.
Oh my god.
You brought this on yourself.
So, next bit of news, back on topic. They showed a video of Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. One of the new features of the game is it has a stamp sheet where you could tap Amiibo to unlock new equipment. So, yay to there. A Kirby Battle Royale video, which is releasing in January. A Yokai Watch 2 video. Layton's Mystery Journal. The new Layton game is going to be hitting October 6th, which I'm excited about. I always love the Layton games.
Layton's Journal. Dear Diary, I found the best puzzle today. Also, I think that girl likes me. I wonder if I should ask her out. Uh-oh, I should go finish that diabolical box. BRB.
Oh, man. Minecraft new Nintendo 3DS edition is out today.
That's cool. That'll be good in 3D.
I love when they do that at events where it's like, yeah, this game is coming and it's out now, motherfuckers.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So good. I'm excited for that. Mario
As opposed
Party.
to when, Sega did it with the release of the Sega Saturn. Oh, hey guys, we're releasing our system 3 months early. You can go buy it today.
Yeah, I think a $30 game is a lot easier to do that with than a $500 system.
$300, yeah.
Fucking insane. There's going to be a new Mario Party-ish game coming out called Mario Party The Top 100. It's releasing November 10th and features the top 100 minigames from the 10 numbered releases.
Wow.
So like 10 from each?
I don't know if it's going to be 10 from each or just like the best across the board. All I know is that if Bumper Balls and Crazy Cutters aren't in there, they can go fuck themselves.
No. It's an insta-buy for me if they've got Soda Shaker Jerk-Off game. That's all I want. Just give me that and I'll be happy.
Even better, if only one person has the cart, you can do 4-player download play with one single cartridge.
Well, I've always liked that about the cartridge things for downloading.
Yeah.
It's a good way to get people to sort of be enticed by a game's premise and then go out and buy it themselves. You know, Hey, they have to do some good marketing sometimes, Nintendo, maybe.
Indeed. They showed a video for Metroid Samus Returns, which has been getting awesome reviews. So I am definitely hoping to grab that tomorrow if someone around here still has the special edition. I'm so pissed that we didn't get the collector edition that Europe got.
We don't really get the good collector's editions unless it's a game made by Activision.
We get good collector's editions, just not from Nintendo.
Hey, to jump back to previous reviews, we have been snubbed so many times with the Senran Kagura special editions, you have no idea.
Well,
we don't get any figurines. We get the art book and the soundtrack if we're lucky.
Do you need a new body pillow?
Yes. Give me the Monster Musume 100-foot-long body pillow, damn it.
Oh, Jesus Christ. But
I need my snake lady cuddles.
I'm just so mad that Europe gets a Metroid 2 Steelbook. It looks so goddamn good, and we don't get that here. Fuck. They showed a batch of Atlas RPGs, The Alliance Alive, which is releasing next year, Shin Megami Tensei, Strange Journey Redux, which is coming out next year. They showed some more footage for Radiant Historia, Perfect Chronology coming next year. They also announced that the launch edition of that is going to have an art book and a decal sheet. So, stickers!
Yo, is Shin Megami Tensei the game with the flying humans, where they just fly and have martial arts bullets they shoot? Is that what I'm thinking of?
I don't remember which one Strange Journey was.
Yeah, I mean, I remember a Shin Megami Tensei, unless I'm thinking of a different game.
Shin Megami Tensei is like the half high school drama simulator, half RPG.
Okay, I'm thinking of something else. I don't know what I'm thinking of. You know, it's a top-down shooter, but you're just dudes that fly around instead of ships.
Choaniki?
Maybe. No. It's not where they're like not the 2D side-scrolling. It's a 3D 3D graphic, like polygon graphics, top-down PS1. It's a vertically scrolling shooter where you play just dudes and ladies who fly around and shoot martial arts blasts, and there are like 16 characters.
No idea what you're talking.
It's a kind of a cool game. There's a lot of dialogue.
Castle Shikigami?
That is the game. Thank you, Castle Shikigami. That's the one.
I always thought that was an RPG when I saw it in stores, and then I bought it on PS2, I think, and it was a shooter. I'm like, what the fuck?
Me and Devin played the hell out of that. Me and Devin, we just loved that game.
That game is known far and wide, Castle Shikigami 2, for having some of the worst voice acting in any video game ever.
It's got wonderfully bad voice acting.
It's part of the charm.
It absolutely is part of the charm. It's like, it's like being a fan of B movies. It's just it's a good bad game.
Yes.
I just like when a shooter of people flying around, my mind just immediately goes to Choaniki.
That's a good one too.
Yeah, damn right it is. And then the last Atlas game they talked about was Etrian Odyssey 5 Beyond the Myth, because a demo is out right now, bitches. Go grab it and play it now. A quick video for Apollo Justice Ace Attorney, which is out in November. A quick video for Fire Emblem Warriors, which is out October 20th. And then they announced another new 2DS XL system, this one white with orange trim.
That sounds like a nice color scheme.
It is.
I think if I were to be getting a DS, that might be the one.
I called it the Creamsicle Edition.
Yeah.
It looks nice. If I didn't already have, my Zelda one, I'd be fine. And then again, I don't want a 2DS XL. I want more limited 3DS XLs.
I'm with you, man. Me and you. 3D.
We need that 3D. 3D brothers for life.
I would like it. Yeah. Someday I'll get a DS in 2020.
That'd be nice. Then we could play together. They went into a nice long video package of Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Lots of footage. They were like tutorial style videos telling you how the game worked, how the mechanics worked. Releasing December 1st, so it is coming this year. I am fucking excited about that. And a special edition is coming as well, with a metal case, a soundtrack sampler, and a 220-page hardcover art book. Huh. So they are not fucking around with that art book. Best of all, it's only going to be $100. I think for all that stuff, it's pretty solid. Europe looks to be getting the same. People have noticed that their soundtrack comes in a jewel case. Ours comes in a cardboard sleeve. Their description explicitly states a steel book case, where ours was it said it's a metal case. I don't know if it's going to be the same one or not. And apparently their art book is only 200 pages and possibly softbound, where ours is 220 in hardcover. So I don't know if there's going to be too many other differences or not, but at least they're not getting some crazy awesome statue that we're not. And then they're also going to be releasing a Xenoblade style Pro controller, if you're looking for one of them. Next up, a Splatoon 2 video with some of the updates and additions coming to the game. A Fire Emblem Warriors video that's coming out on the 20th. And that's also going to have a special edition with an art card set, a poster, and a 3-disc soundtrack.
Now that is something that's up my alley, because I love the Nintendo takes on the Warrior series, and I think one of my biggest issues with the Warriors is that the soundtrack was never officially released, and some of the arrangements they have. I'm not a Zelda fan. I like the music, I like the lore, I don't like the games. But the soundtrack, the arrangements from the series on Hyrule Warriors were incredible, and I would love to have that in disc or MP3 form. But nope, can't get it. I have to go to KH Insider in order to grab it.
Yeah, that's sad. And then 2 new Fire Emblem amiibo will be out the same day because we need more amiibo. Snipper Clips Plus is going to be an expanded version of the launch game. Going to have a new mode with random body shapes, which should be fun. Coming out November 10th on retail and digital. So yes, first time it'll be retail. And then you could the new stuff will be available as DLC for existing owners as well. They showed a new video of Morphe's Law, which we first found out about that during the Nindy Summer Showcase. Have you guys seen anything about this game?
Have not.
It is an online, I think it's 5v5 online shooter, which, nothing special. We've seen those before. The big draw with this one is when you shoot enemies, wherever you shoot them, that body part shrinks.
Huh, that sounds good.
And your body part grows.
Oh God, that's shoulder weird. Is so large.
Yeah, so if you get a bunch of headshots, their head gets tiny and you get big head mode.
But then you're an easier target because you have a big head.
Yep.
That sounds interesting.
So
what's this game called?
It's called Morphe's Law.
Is it American?
I'm not sure who's developing it.
That's weird. That seems like it would be one of those weird lower budget PS2 era titles that came out of Japan when they were doing all that really strange PS2 stuff. But that sounds good. Or it might be in modern. It also sounds like the kind of thing a modern American or European indie might be. That sounds interesting.
So they could either be Japanese. They could either be PC. I don't know.
I will play that. I will play that game.
Look it up. Someone look it up. You guys aren't doing anything. So they showed off.
I will look it up. I'm going to look it up right now.
Rocket League footage from the Switch. They showed off the Nintendo-themed cars. They announced a game called Arena of Valor, a new 5-on-5 MOBA from Tencent Games, which is going to be a free beta this winter. They showed off some new footage for Skyrim and confirmed it is coming November 17th. And then the first big bombshell of the Nintendo Direct. Bethesda is bringing 2 more games to the Switch. This holiday, Doom is coming to the Switch.
And we're talking the Doom 2016 game, yes?
Yes,
okay.
The new Doom.
New Doom, that's cool.
And
then was it New Colossus?
That'll be hitting next year. Yep, Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus, will be hitting next year. No set date on either of them, but Doom this holiday, Wolfenstein next year.
So here's my question then, because people have always said, for systems like that, oh, it's not powerful enough to make these games work. Obviously, now we've reached a point where you can release games almost identical on any system, including the Switch. It's just a matter of time and effort. I will not accept any more excuses from any companies at this point, unless they're just so depleted on resources, to not put their games, any PC equivalent games, over there. We're past that now.
Yeah. I mean, then again, we don't know how much of a graphical hit Doom is going to take.
Oh, it's not going to look even remotely as good, but it'll be capped at like 20 or 25 FPS. The textures are going to be smaller, but it's not. We're not going to have the same debacle that was done with having Borderlands on the PlayStation Vita.
Oh God, let's not talk about that.
No, let's
port.
That they did the best with what they had. That's honestly,
sure they did.
It's real bad because they didn't do enough to modify okay, that's a discussion for another time. I have New Colossus on pre-order for PC, so I'm looking forward to that. I also own a Switch, and I will potentially be getting it for both in order to compare.
Now the question, do you have the collector's edition pre-ordered?
Nope.
Oh, how could you pass up the action figure?
Because honestly, for most games, unless, and yeah, you can call me a dirty old man, unless it's got some fan service in it, most of those collector's editions, I'm not terribly interested in.
I don't know, straight up action figure kind of sold me on that.
The only other collector's edition I've recently purchased was Sonic Mania, and that is just because of the amount of effort and love that was poured into the entire package. Such
an amazing statue with it, too.
Yeah. I haven't even opened the box yet. I don't want to. Want to!
You whore.
Oh, come on. Imagine, eBay 50 years from now, unopened Steam version with a key that's for some reason has de novo DRM.
Oh, man. Anyway, they had an update video for the game Flip Wars, which I never played, so I don't know what the fuck it is. And then what I think is another fairly big moment of the conference. We've covered a number of the Arcade Archives Neo Geo games on the show over the years. Hamster is working on an Arcade Archives Nintendo series, which I was shocked to see. The first game is going to be out September 27th, and they're starting with kind of a dud with the original arcade Mario Brothers. So it's not a huge game.
What are you talking about? Mario Brothers, that's a good game. You don't like Mario Brothers?
It's
the original.
It's a good game.
It's a very solid arcade game. It's a classic kind of, simple one-screen arcade game, but it's fun. It's fun.
An okay game, but when you hear what other ones they're working on so far, they could have had a better start, because they are also working on Versus Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Versus Balloon Fight, which
they better have Punch-Out in there.
Versus Ice Climbers.
Punch-Out is kind of the crown jewel of early Nintendo arcade games.
Well, Versus Ice Climbers, Versus Pinball, which fuck yeah, Versus Clue Land.
Okay, that's
and
good.
Versus Punch-Out.
Thank you. I really appreciate the showmanship of saving it for the end for me, Joe. I appreciate that.
Well, I went in order of the video. So they saved it.
Did you? Okay.
Nintendo knew.
Compliment retracted then.
Nintendo knew, and they saved it for the end for you.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what other games come out from this series, because I know for a fact they had a Versus Excite Bike. I used to play that game as a kid all the time.
Yep, it did.
So I'm looking forward. I was talking to my friend, I forget who the fuck was I talking to. I was talking to someone earlier, let's generalize it. And I made the mention that if they end up putting a ton of these out, I want to see them have a hub for everything. So it's not just each individual game. You could go to a central hub that has all the games, and it looks like a Play Choice 10.
That would be really cool. I would like that.
I would love to see that happen. What about you, Stevo? Any Versus games you're looking forward to?
Not really. I'm too peaceful. I don't really like fighting. That's the lamest answer I could come up with.
God.
No, there's nothing about it really grabs me. So,
Steve, have you played the arcade Punch-Out? Because it's great. It's just a great game.
What, with Vodka Drunkinsky?
Yes.
And the green wireframe.
It is worth playing that green wireframe little
No, I did.
I love the primitive voice synthesis on it too. It's just such a good period piece experience, you know?
You're bringing back a memory that has been long gone, actually.
It is it's like the pinnacle of arcade gaming in its time. It is a good experience still. I love arcade Punch-Out. If I ever see an arcade Punch-Out cabinet, I will always play it. It is
I tell
always
you what,
fun.
When I get home from work tomorrow, since you'll still be here because you're staying through to Saturday, I'll load up the machine and I'll do it.
Awesome. It is a mandate.
I'm just excited because I don't think any of these have ever been released for home.
Mandate.
No, I don't think they have. That's a good point, Joe. There's not been, as far as I know, an official port of the arcade Punch-Out that has been sanctioned by Nintendo. So it's great. It's great to see that.
We've had Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers. We've had all those other games released in their NES format, but we have never had the arcade versions, which...
Yeah, the arcade versions have been neglected.
It's really cool to see Nintendo doing. That's a part of their history that I'm sure a lot of people don't even know exist.
Yeah.
Then something else they showed that I noticed in the Punch-Out video, remember how Punch-Out had the two screens?
Oh yeah.
How the bomb screen had what was going on and the top screen had information on the fight and everything. Their video showed those two screens, which makes me wonder, can you turn your Switch sideways and have it act as a double screen?
Ooh, I wonder, maybe you can.
Could do that. But speaking of Switch, I'm just waiting for the day that I can tune into the SML podcast and I can hear that they finally confirmed Senran Kagura for the Switch in the United States. I need the massage minigame. You do not even understand.
Is it in Japan?
It is. It's a Switch exclusive.
Why don't you import it?
Because as far as I know, I wouldn't be able to understand it because I don't speak Japanese.
You need the text in that game. You're going to stare at the bouncing and the rubbing.
You can't navigate the menus. You can't get to the good parts.
Guarantee you there's already a guide online.
That's too much effort.
Senran Kagura menu translation guide.
Even easier.
Hey guys, I finished my translation patch.
Well, that's just estimating.
Hey guys, you could rubber in English now.
I do hope that the Switch does become soft modded at some point, because it runs on Android hardware, and exploiting something like that would just, it would suck because Nintendo would be like, piracy is going to kill our sales. No, it's not going to. It's going to make people who are interested in tinkering that much more interested in buying your shit.
I'm just fucking happy that it's region free.
Yep.
So you do have the option to import it.
As opposed to the stuff for the Vita, which why would you do that after so many systems that were region free, right?
Pretty much. Anyway, they jumped to some sports stuff with videos for NBA 2K18, WWE 2K18, FIFA 18, and Pokken Tournament. Then a batch of, not a batch, but they showed footage for Project Octopath Traveler from Square Enix. Have you guys seen this one?
No idea what that is.
Really? What about you, Stevo?
No.
It is a brand new RPG, Switch exclusive, from the producers of Bravely Default. It has a mix of like current gen or like Switch generation 3D visuals for all the backgrounds, all the areas that you're traveling, and all the character sprites are like 16-bit sprites.
Wow.
So it's a mix. They call it HD 2D, which kind of a goofy name, but in motion it looks absolutely gorgeous. Best of all, there's a demo right now. So Stevo, grab your Switch and check out that demo.
I'm eating mac and cheese puffs.
Full game will be out next year. They showed a video for the new ARMS update with a new fighter and stage and remappable controls, and that just hit today. Video for Dragon Quest Builders releasing in spring. A new video for the Kirby game, which now has an official title called Kirby Star Allies. Showcase some team-up attacks, and that it is releasing in spring. And then a couple of sizzle reels just showing off like indies and other titles. SteamWorld Dig, Golf Story, Nine Parchments, Battle Chef Brigade, Tiny Metal, Super Meat Boy Forever, which I'm excited to see more on.
Nice.
Lost Sphere, Sonic Forces, Resident Evil Revelations, and LA Noire.
Cool.
So, a lot of good stuff coming to the Switch, and they ended it with a massive new video showcase of Mario Odyssey, showing off some of the new hat abilities. Something that caught my eye was there was a big gap. Mario threw his hat out, which spun in place, jumped on and off the hat, and used it as a platform.
Huh.
I thought that looked really cool. They showed off a bunch of the cities, including 2 new ones, including Shiveria, a snow kingdom, because of course there's a snow level, and Beaublaine, which is a seaside kingdom. Things look great. I think the game got a visual upgrade. It was already looking really solid, and I think they bumped it up even more.
That's cool.
They showed off the Power Moons, which are a bunch of collectibles that reminded me of the Riddler trophies in Batman. So
yeah, I still need to play more of that series too. There is no bandwagon. I was never even on the bandwagon.
And then they showed off Crazy Cops, which is a shop that lets you buy different outfits and stickers, a snapshot mode so you could do screenshots, and the Amiibo. They revealed what the Amiibo are going to do, how they have the new 3-pack of wedding Amiibo coming out. Each one will give you the wedding outfit for the character, which you could also earn games, so you don't need to do it. If you use Mario, it gives you temporary invincibility. Peach will give you a life-up heart, and Bowser will reveal the regional coin locations. All that, and it's also getting a hardware bundle. So you could get a Mario Odyssey Switch bundle later on this year that comes with, of course, the Switch with red Joy-Con for Mario, a digital copy of the game, and a Mario Odyssey carrying case. So yeah, that was the Nintendo Direct. All the news from there. What do you guys think of all the Nintendo news?
That sounds good. I'm most interested in the Punch-Out port. But that's nice. That's nice. I don't have any Nintendo systems, but I'm glad that Nintendo is bringing some stuff.
Well, you could always pick up the Odyssey bundle.
How much does that cost?
I don't fucking know.
Yeah, what do you think? I'm making money?
How about now? Can you hear me now, damn it?
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Fucking hell.
The best part is when I do all the editing to the show, like none of that other stuff will be there, and you'll just be like, out of nowhere, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
No, it's still cutting out for me.
Anyway, earlier this week, Nintendo also came out, and they've claimed that production for the SNES Classic has dramatically increased. Reggie himself advising that people should not pay more than the $80 retail price, as supply should not be the issue. Am I wrong to have a hard time believing this?
You know, I don't know if you have a hard time believing it. I want to believe it, and if it's true, I mean, good on you, Reggie Fils-Ames. I think obviously everyone thinks they should be making more SNES and NES Classics. You know what? If they say it, I believe them. Nintendo has done some kind of shitty stuff, but they usually don't lie. You know?
Yeah.
If they say they're going to do something, usually they do it. So that's great.
Yeah. And then they also said that despite their initial statement that they were only going to release it through the end of the year, they're going to produce them into next year.
That's nice. Yeah, I saw that.
And
I would love one of those.
And maybe the NES Classic is coming back next summer.
Yeah, I actually read about that. That is super great.
Like, is Nintendo listening to customers?
They just might be. They might have actually listened to customers. Maybe they like money again. I don't know.
What the fuck is going on?
Maybe they want money.
Oh, man.
Maybe they want to make the product everyone wants to buy available.
Maybe.
That would be a sound business decision, wouldn't it?
It would be. You would think so.
I would think so. I do think so.
Some other new non-Nintendo news to talk about. On Monday, news came out that the Steam version of Ys 8, which was set to release the following day, was delayed until further notice. Some reports online state that the game was very buggy and had a lot of issues. Some even claimed it was borderline unplayable at times, but people seem to throw that term around when a game drops like 28 frames per second, so take that as you will. I know myself and Chris Taylor played it on the PS4 and the Vita, and it is utterly fantastic. So it's not the game that's the problem, it is the port. So whenever it hits the PC, I'm sure it'll be worth the wait.
Haven't heard of that game.
It's good stuff. You should check out Ys. If you're an RPG fan,
how do you spell?
Ys.
Like
YS.
Is it a remake of Ys? It's a remake, or is it a new one, or what? I know that series. I mean, I always call it Wise. I know it's Ys, but because I started calling it Wise in the 90s before the internet, I'm just gonna always call it Wise.
Yeah, that's why I still say Ryu.
Yeah.
So, do I sound any better now?
Yes.
You always sounded good to me, Steve.
Oh, fucking hell.
Just let it go, man. Let it go.
I can't. I've never seen Frozen.
Why not? Let's watch it tonight. Let it go. It's a good movie.
It's
a good movie. You know what I like about Frozen?
I have to go to the office tomorrow.
I like Frozen because it is full of trope subversion.
I like frozen yogurt. Is that enough?
No, that is unrelated.
I enjoyed Frozen so much, I imported the European one because it was region-free and had the 3D Blu-ray.
Good for you, Joe.
Fuck
Good
yeah.
for you.
But yeah, Shael, the new Ys 8 is just a brand new game in the series, and it is fantastic.
That sounds good.
Oh, you mean the new Wise?
That's awesome. The new Wise.
Yeah. Okay.
They make
now I know what we're talking about.
Potato chips.
I wonder how many people know that
JRPGs.
there's a Wise brand potato chip.
An East? You mean an East brand?
East brand potato chip.
I love East potato chips.
Oh, fuck.
I don't know. David Wise made his own potato chips.
They're pretty good.
Did,
they are delicious.
Yeah.
Some more news is it looks like we're going to be getting a bunch of remakes and remasters coming along. Okami HD has finally been confirmed by Capcom and will be releasing December 12th in the US. The 21st in Japan will feature 4K visuals on the Xbox One X and PS4 Pro, as well as on supported PCs. We'll have the original 4:3 screen ratio, as well as widescreen if you want. And it brings back the loading screen minigame as well.
Well, you know what? That's all well and good, but damn it, whatever's left of you, Clover, I want my fucking beautiful Joe HD remakes.
Oh, yeah.
Seriously. Anyway, the best part of all that with Okami, $20.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah, I
think
was.
they assume that anybody who's ever wanted to play the game has already done so.
So they're happy to quadruple dip at $20 instead of if it came out at $40. Sega looks to be getting in on the remasters as well, as some retailers have found listings for 2 different game collections. The first one is a platinum double pack with Bayonetta and Vanquish for PS4 and Xbox One, and the second was a pack of Shenmue 1 and 2.
Oh, yeah.
There has been no confirmation from Sega, so take it as a rumor for now, but I will buy the fuck out of both of those if it happens. Thanks for your input.
Is Shenmue going to come to PC?
I don't know. Isn't Shenmue on PC?
I mean, here's the thing, Joe.
No, it's Dreamcast.
You know that I
Xbox.
am a dedicated PC gamer, right, Joe?
And I'm a dedicated console gamer, so my news focuses on console.
I respect that. But my interest is it begins and ends at console gaming.
Well, you're getting Okami.
I mean, PC gaming, not console gaming.
Well, then this last bit of news is going to be right up your alley because it's all
Please
Xbox
continue.
related.
Fantastic. Whoa!
The Xbox news was so intense it knocked somebody's mic off.
It was a light fell, but it's fine.
The
lamp fell. Your lamp. It's fine. Nothing broke. We picked it back up.
Don't break my lamp, Shael.
I won't break your lamps.
Oh, man. So, yeah, Dead Space 2 is now part of the EA Access Vault. So if you're an EA Access member on Xbox One, now you can play Dead Space 2 for free. Yay.
That's cool. I played Dead Space 2 for a minute.
And then the final bit of news I have is that a whopping 6 new games were added to the Xbox One Backward Compatibility lineup today.
Oh, that's nice.
And those are Slender the Arrival, which, cool. Super Contra, which I wish it was the NES version, not the arcade version. Yeah. Monopoly Deal, because yay, I guess.
What?
Yeah, Monopoly. Fuck yeah.
Deal.
Undertow, made by Chair, the people who made Shadow Complex way back when.
Oh, Shadow Complex was nice.
Back before they became Epic's Infinity Blade machine, because that's all they do now.
I mean, fuck Infinity Blade. It started out promising, and it's just so blah.
Yeah. There's apparently an Xbox One version of Infinity Blade, but it's like restricted to China only.
Weird.
That is very strange, yeah.
Hope it changes. And then the original XBLA version of Virtual On, which sadly is Japan only.
Oh, come on. I need my, was it? I always call it Ontario Tangram, but it's like Oratorio something or whatever. Virtual On is a great game. Like, okay, and I'm actually going to mention it in my review tonight, is Virtual On is going to be mentioned. That's it. I'm teasing.
I thought you had something more to say there.
just small little lick in the tip.
Nice. Well, yeah, I know there's another Virtual On game on Xbox 360 which is playable on Xbox One, but this original one never came to America, which is a bummer. Maybe they'll change that someday. Doubt it, but maybe. And then the final game in the list that is added playable on Xbox One today is Saints Row the Third.
Excellent, best game in the franchise.
Fuck yeah, love that one.
It is the apex of the series, no question.
I still loved 4 more.
Really? I think 4 was just a rehash. I mean, it was boring to have all those superpowers. It moved away from what it was supposed to be. The guns didn't matter. The cars didn't matter. The stories didn't matter. Nothing mattered because you flew around and you flew around. Who cares?
Yeah,
Super
but it's my favorite superhero game of all time.
Okay, I mean, if you're looking for a superhero open world game, I understand that. Yeah. But I was hoping for a proper, weird, satirical gangster game, and I didn't get it, so I was disappointed. I love Saints Row 3, but I wish they'd go back to that level of serious and silly balance. It went too stupid after 3.
Oh, I understand.
Way over the top. Yeah.
I totally understand that. But, yeah, it's all the news I got.
It's great. 3 is the one everybody should play 3. That's a great game. 5-star game. Everybody plays Saints Row 3. Lots of fun.
There you go. Shael Riley confirms that you should play Saints Row the Third.
Absolutely.
Good stuff. So yeah, that's all the news I got. Any news this week you guys want to talk about?
Did I tell you about my Patreon?
No, tell us about this Patreon.
Patreon.com/The Grammar Club. That's it.
There's no other details. You need to go there and look yourself.
Yeah.
I was going to say the Humble Bundle finally did something that was right up my alley, the Humble Sakura Bundle, which was, I think, 13 of the Sakura series games, which are Twitch banned. That should give you an idea of what they're about. And Honey Pop and Honeycam Studio, all about $10.
Good Lord.
What is Honeycam Studio? Is it what it sounds like?
It's a clicker game. It's very much like just a generic clicker game, only with the premise of it being a webcam sex thing.
Yes, it is what it sounds like.
It didn't grab me nearly as much as Honey Pop did because I love the puzzle style of gameplay way more than the clicker style. The art also is too different for me. But what really made me uncomfortable is the fact that you can send your girls out on like personal calls and then they can get STDs. And I'm just like, it might be fictional, but I don't want to send somebody out into a minefield knowingly. This is not cool, game. And the fact that you have to get them to get treated, and sometimes it's incurable. I don't want to ruin a game like that. But it was totally worthwhile to get if you've never played Honey Pop and are into the sort of eroge fan service style of games.
Yeah.
Normally, I would like switch the stream to show my monitor so I could show off what's in the bundles, but I don't want to get banned for showing these box arts. Let's see, tits, almost tits, but not as bad. Like blatant titties, bathing suit titties, bunch of titties. Honey Pop, which isn't super revealing, but then Soccer Swim Club. Titties, Nova titties, Space titties. Like it's basically the humble titty bundle.
Well said, Joe.
4 days left, so get on that.
Destiny 2 reviews are coming in, and people are seeing the game as a huge improvement over Destiny 1. So that's encouraging. The release is how many weeks away now?
The release it's out.
I thought it hadn't come out for PC yet.
Oh, PC is like late October.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, I'm a PC gamer, Joe. So
okay, well the game is out now. You realize the game is now out on.
Yes, I know it's out on console, but normally for me, it's like if I can't play it, it doesn't exist in my world.
I thought maybe you were saying this as a segue for reviews.
If you want to, go ahead.
Because the first game to talk about tonight is Destiny 2.
What is Destiny 2 like? What kind of game is it?
First off, we need to get this out of the way. Over the past couple of years, I've been hard on Destiny on this show. I was very let down with the first game, despite the fact that I got like the Ghost edition of it. I pre-ordered it while the beta was out. I just felt the heavy focus on buy expansion, and if you haven't bought them, go to hell. Like, it really turned me off from Destiny in general. So
I don't know what kind of game Destiny even is. Is it an FPS? Is it a MOBA?
Borderlands high raid style.
It's a Borderlands like.
Stevo's yelling from the other side of the room.
No, I'm just getting comfortable on my bed.
But I was fairly shocked when we got the okay to review Destiny on the show. And if you somehow don't know, Destiny is a online open world style first person shooter. It has a lot of MMO style elements, but it's never going to be like you're playing with thousands of people. Every now and then you might see a handful of other people. Some of the bigger public events going on, you could see like I think 8 to 10 others you could see around you. The game, I'll go through all the details. Destiny 2, developed by Bungie, published by Activision, released September 6th on PS4 and, quote, other platform for $59.99. It will hit the PC through Battle.net October 24th. Humanity's last safe city has fallen to an overwhelming invasion force led by Gaul, the imposing commander of the brutal Red Legion. He has stripped the city's guardians of their power and forced the survivors to flee. You will venture to mysterious, unexplored worlds of our solar system to discover an arsenal of weapons and devastating new combat abilities. To defeat the Red Legion and confront Gaul, you must reunite humanity's scattered heroes, stand together, and fight back to reclaim our home. I do want to say this will be part 1 of the review. One of the issues with the game that I've had right off the bat has been server problems, which I'm not shocked. It's probably going to be one of the biggest games of the year. Tons of people buying it, tons of people playing it, and servers are just crying in pain. I've been disconnected a number of times, so I will talk about it again next week on the show. First things first, the game starts off with a gorgeous cutscene and story before everything just goes to shit and hell in a handbasket, and a crazy intro sequence. And I think one of the important things I said there is that it had story. The first game, one of the biggest problems that people had with the original Destiny was the lack of story. Everything was told through grimoire cards that you had to either read online, or like there was very little actual story in the game to keep you invested in things. It was basically go here, kill things, walk here, kill things. Okay, now read this online because we're just going to tell you to go here. When one of the cutscenes in the first game is like, I don't have time to tell you why I'm here, that's a problem. There's none of that in this game. It is very story heavy. The cutscenes are absolutely gorgeous. And I feel weird saying that this might be one of the most action-packed and intriguing first hours I've ever played in a game. Between the high-octane firefights in the opening areas to the fact that you get all of your power stripped away. So if you die, you die.
Symphony of the Night style.
Pretty much. Threw me off because you're just lounging on your bed 40 feet away from the microphone.
I know, isn't it great?
So helpful.
Don't worry, I'm coming back.
But
is that better, Schnookums?
Yes, but it strips away all your powers, and then you basically have to build yourself back up from the bottom. Start from the bottom, and then you got to get back up. What do you want, cat? God,
Hi, cat.
I can't do shows without my cats harassing me, and Stevo.
Cat's harassing you. Stevo's got the come hither face on. What are you gonna do? It's just me with a beard that's holding a sign that says, I want you.
I have dreams like that. Anyway, as the story progresses, you eventually get sent to like an outskirt planet where you're trying to, after you've fallen off the city that you were on, you have to track down your ghost again, and then you're pretty much having to search for other signs of humanity, other signs of life that aren't your enemies. You'll stumble upon a group of other survivors who have a farmhouse, which is basically your new home base. In the first game, you had like the city that you would always return to for people with missions and, you know, your stores and whatnot. Here, you're basically on a farm, and it is beautiful. This game is absolutely gorgeous. Stunning visuals, and not just the cutscenes, like the locales. I know in the first game, it seemed the first planet you were on forever, and you never seemed to get off of there. In this game, they have you jumping from planet to planet fairly quickly, and I really enjoyed that change of pace, where you start off at the one planet, you do a couple of missions, and then it sends you to a different planet, do a couple of missions, sends you to a third planet, and so on. You can always revisit those earlier ones for newer missions or for the open world stuff.
So here, quick question for you then, because you're going on and on about how beautiful the game is. At any point during like the first hour or two, when what you said is like the most engaging potentially that you've ever had, did it feel like there's style over substance?
No.
You thought it was taken in equal measure?
I thought in the time I've spent with it, it doesn't feel like things are pretty just to be pretty. The things are pretty to complement the fact that the gameplay is really, really solid. It doesn't feel like there's any set pieces of just to be like, wow, look what we could do technically in this game. It all seems to have a purpose in the game. But it could still be visually impressive. It's just not pointlessly impressive.
Okay.
Does that
Good
make sense?
clarification. Yes, very much so.
Overall, the game is very open-ended in what you could do. They'll give you a mission on a planet, and you could either go do that mission, or you could just fuck around, wander around the area, shoot enemies, wait for the public events to start. Similar to the first game, every now and then there's going to be public events where, you know, a special ship will show up and you have to destroy it, or you'll have to guard a certain area. And then everyone works together to try and take care of it, and you get rewarded if you succeed. So, yay. I know I spent probably a good hour or two just putzing around the first area before I even did any missions. Because I was just...
What was so interesting about the first area? Or were you just confused?
Just exploring and getting a hang of the area and the jumping abilities and the thrusting mechanics, because you have the jump and thrust mechanic in this game. And just to see where you could go... Like how, if you're allowed to get to certain areas, see what's gated off. I enjoy exploring in open world style games to see what's around, what I could do, and then I'll focus on story, because then I'll kind of know my way around the area as well.
Well, you know, I also like giving my jump and thrust technique, if you know what I'm sorry.
But I really enjoyed the fact that it didn't feel as linear as the first game. Like, when you're actually in missions, yes, things are very head this way. There were constantly little icons on your HUD to tell you where you got to go to keep you on track. But when you're not in those missions, you're free to do whatever you want. If you wander too far away and you find some enemies that are going to absolutely wreck you, well, it's your own fucking fault for walking that far away. But you can if you want. The fact that you can jump to different planets once they're opened up and just bounce from planet to planet, doing events here, doing random events here. It's very open-ended in that you could play it in whatever way you want to, for the most part.
Yeah, I like that. Why not do it that way? You know,
yeah.
That makes sense.
I already mentioned that the visuals are gorgeous. The soundtrack is fantastic as well. I'm really, really, really enjoying this game. And I was... honestly kind of worried going in, because I didn't love the first game as much as many people have. I had a lot of issues with the first game. I still have reservations with the fact that the exclusivity with Sony is so harsh that on one of the promotional websites, they literally said available for PS4 and other platform. That's why I said that at the beginning. Platform. Yeah.
Not platforms multiple, but what other platform? It's very strange.
I hate the exclusivity shit. I hate the fact that there's content being withheld from PC and Xbox for a full year minimum, because they have in the fine print at least next year. And it happened already where a year passed and they're like, nope, it's going to be another year. You could keep waiting. I think that's shitty to do.
Available for PS4 and TurboGrafx 16.
I think that's a terrible practice that Activision really needs to stop doing. I don't care what the platform is, but if someone is paying a price for a game and they're missing a big chunk of it because they have a different platform, that I think that's unfair to gamers. And I don't know. I can't agree with that stuff. So I definitely have to bring up the fact that is, in my eyes, that is a huge problem. But there's really nothing that can be done about it. It doesn't seem like the content being withheld is as bad as it was in the first game. Mm-hmm. I still wish this shit wouldn't happen to begin with. I know there's been a lot of controversy over the shaders being one-time use items now instead of use as many times as you want. Personally, I said this last week, I don't care because I'm not going to use shaders anyway. I'll just have whatever equipment I have on. I can understand why people are upset, and I can understand why people are annoyed with the microtransactions in the game. But if you don't care about that shit, you're not going to use it anyway. So, I don't know. Some people have their opinions on it, and, you know, what are you going to do? I don't want to give this a final verdict yet because I do want to spend more time with it. Like I said, one of the issues I had was the servers. I've been disconnected a number of times in the game. Earlier today, I was about halfway through a mission and I got disconnected, and I'm scared to go back and see how much of it I have to replay, but I guess we'll see. As of right now, I'm going to give this a cautious buy it. I think the game is fantastic. It does a lot of stuff right. It's very engaging. I've spent a lot of time with it. I am looking forward to spending more time with it, and I will give more thoughts next week on the show.
Very cool.
Destiny 2 for other platform is definitely worth picking up.
For other platforms.
Yeah. I can't believe that they had that. And
no, I got it. Available for PlayStation 4 and Game Tap.
And Game Tap. That's a deep cut. Well played, Steve.
Yeah.
How about Tiger R-Zone?
Tiger R-Zone. You know what? That was the one I was going to go to. So that's a good one too.
Nobody wants fucking Kool-Aid colored pseudo 3D graphics. God damn it!
My joke. Yeah.
There were people saying that like they went to Best Buy and Amazon and they couldn't even buy the game digital. They only sold it digital for PlayStation, not for Xbox.
What?
Huh.
How fucked up is that?
That's pretty bad.
That is, like, come the fuck on. Just, I don't know. Like I said, those exclusive contracts, they need to knock it the fuck off because it is getting bad. It is getting embarrassing to gaming in general that they have contracts like this that are so restrictive that some stores can't even sell a digital copy of a game on a platform because of contracts. That's fucked up.
It must be the lucrative choice, you know? It must make sense from a business perspective or they wouldn't do it, right?
Guess so, but I don't know. Stuff like that is honestly what makes me avoid the PlayStation, that they keep making contracts like this. I want to get further and further away from PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, next game to talk about is called Senko no Ronde 2. Did I say it right, Stevo?
I don't fucking know. I'll be completely fucking on it. I don't fucking know. So, and that name is a bit of a misnomer. From my understanding, Senko no Ronde 2 is a PC port of a previous console port of an arcade game.
Well, before you get to the review, I got to do the info. I was just checking if the name was right.
Right. I just feel like calling it the number 2 is kind of false advertising, but please go ahead.
I'm just going with what the game is called. So Senko no Ronde 2, developed by G.rev Ltd, published by Degica Games. It released September 6th on PS4 and Steam for $39.99. Senko no Ronde 2 is a fast-paced one-on-one action game offering an eclectic mix of the shooting and fighting genres and a mech-filled bullet ballet played out in space. And with Zutada alumnus Yashuisha Watanabe on board, you can expect a superb soundtrack too. Hopefully I said that right. So Stevo, tell us about Senko no Ronde 2, or whatever you think it should be called.
I would say Senko no Ronde Deluxe, because so the arcade game is this one-on-one. It's almost like Toho meets Zone of the Enders, kind of. It's a very weird style of fighting. Anyways, so you basically have a whole bunch of different like robot mech-ish kind of deals that are piloted by 2 people, and you fight, and you win when you destroy the other person. The arcade fighting mode, literally no story. There's just a couple random sound bites, and I think like maybe 1 or 2 small intro changes in between battles that change depending on your character. In this release, there is also online battling, which I think is one of the larger appeals for it, but we'll get to that in a moment. The previous console release included a story mode, which I barely got into. The amount of text information in this game that's just sort of dumped on you is absurd. So my experience with it began by starting the game up and immediately getting thrown into an unskippable... I mean, I had to choose to go into it, but since I had never played any game in the series before, I of course wanted to. An unskippable 35-minute long by-the-books tutorial where they literally explained every basic and advanced mechanic you will possibly encounter back-to-back. I hate this style of explanation with a passion, mostly because you really need to be learning by doing, putting you in fights against people that, it's got rudimentary AI, but, this is just like, here, this is how you fire your gun. This is how you fire your different gun. This is how you do melee attacks. Oh, if you do this special button combination, you can do something cool. Be sure to watch these gauges to make sure they don't go down. And it just... Some of the text didn't even have voice lines to it. I don't know if they were meant to be just narration or it. The whole thing already had basically it rubbed me a bit the wrong way. So,
so how does the game play?
Like a game from 2010.
High praise.
It's visually not a stunner, not even close. It looks like, and I don't mean any hate, like the hand-drawn art is fine, but the actual 3D renderings are just kind of like, there are PlayStation 2 games that look better to me, I guess. Like I said,
see now I want you to be careful with it. One of my biggest pet peeves is when people say, "Oh my god, that looks like a PS2 game," when it looks like an early PS4 game or like a very late PS3 game. I think people abuse the whole, "Oh, it looks like a this generation game."
No, I'm saying this with all sincerity that it looks like low poly, low texture 3D rendering. And I'm saying this from a technical standpoint that maybe... And it was weird because the background looks like some visualizers you would get in like music programs, like the infinite looping tunnel. It's...
Well, that's not that bad. I like the tunnel.
Right, but it's not something...
I know.
The entire tutorial felt like I was fighting over the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 fight intro.
Take you
tunnel.
For a ride?
No. Like after you select your characters and it introduces the next stage.
Yeah, I know that tunnel. And that's the take you for a ride tunnel, yeah.
Yeah, that's
where tunnel. That's the tunnel in which you are taken
for a ride. Being taken for a ride.
Right, correct. I want to take you for a ride.
Yes, I feel like that... Now, this has more detail than that, but the detail on it should not have been so much that caused the slowdown that I experienced while playing. So the game not only wasn't terribly visually impressive, but it also ran slow for no apparent reason sometimes.
Huh.
That's too bad.
It is too bad. So I loaded it up after finally doing the tutorial, and I started doing the arcade mode, which I'm not going to complain too much about. The fighting style was confusing as hell, but I'm assuming it's competent. It did not feel fun to control. There was a lot, not really responsiveness issues, but the combinations to do stuff are so particular and finicky that I felt like I got through mostly on luck beating arcade for the first time. Music was fine. Nothing really stood out to me too much. The entire game is in Japanese with English subtitles, so even further divestment because it's just a couple of pre- and post-stage bumpers that, let you know. It's like, oh, well, maybe you should try firing your gun a little bit, more earnestly next time or whatever. It's okay, there's nothing really grabbing me from a storyline here. Final boss felt like a traditional shmup boss. It was kind of bullshitty. But if you're really into super technical, slow-feeling brawlers or shmup hybrids...
You'll love the bouncer. Wait, no.
I actually really like the bouncer as a game. I don't care.
Both hours.
I guess
of it?
you're into very technical brawlers then, huh?
Yeah, and yes, both hours of it.
Both hours of it. Go on.
I played through it many times because it was so short.
Well, it was probably the only game you had for the PS2 at the time.
You know what, Stevo? Next time you stream a game, I want you to stream the bouncer for just like 4 hours on repeat.
No.
Well, I mean, there are only 2 hours, so stream both hours of the bouncer.
Twice.
Sure, yeah, I'll do that one time. But whenever you say the name, you have to say it right. Just the way like it's said on the title. The bouncer.
The bouncer.
Exactly.
The bouncer.
So, Stevo, what's your review of the bouncer?
Well, there was one more thing I want to get into before I give a review for Senko no Ronde 2. The story mode, which was ripped bit by bit from the previous release, it's got a lot of content to it. I wasn't interested in it at all. It's one of those ones where as the story progresses, you're being put in the character that is supposed to be battling that story. It's not like every character has their own individual story. It's a convenience plot. And there were no characters I cared about. It was very standoffish anime style. I'm sure that somebody within this project had a lot of passion for it. I just don't think the execution here, especially with this particular port and the content and the money they're charging for it. Like, this, to me, feels like a $20 game. Because I don't see myself playing it more than I would pay $20 for.
Yeah,
I didn't even get a chance.
I think a lot of that is due to just Japanese pricing on things. Like, I forget who I was talking to about, like, Darius Burst. How that had a new one on PS4. And that released at $60. And people are like, I can't believe how much they... That's just, like, how they charge for that shit in Japan. So I could imagine this game being similar priced, if not higher, in Japan.
So, $40 asking price is too much. $20, I would say, would be interested only for people who are into completely obscure, angsty weeaboo writing and ultra-technical shmup hybrid brawler combat. It's not a buy.
Do you know anyone like that? Because I don't.
Nope, not a single person.
Okay, just checking.
I checked the Steam page before I did the review. There are only 16 reviews for the game. Okay. It is not a popular buy right now. But
there are more than 16 reviews for the video game I made. Way to go! All right,
tiny accomplishments.
Little vindication. My own horn, yes. Right?
Yeah. Not a buy, not a
sorry,
try.
This is why I'm not invited onto podcasts too often. So I'll let you get back to it. I'm sorry. Go on.
That's why I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, I'm the color commentator. I'm here to offer fun disruption.
Oh my God, you're right. String Theory has 29 reviews.
Told you, I'm the Jerry Lawler. Go on.
At least you're not Jerry Falwell.
True.
Yeah, that's true.
So it sounds like the biggest hurdle with this game is the price. Stylistically, it seems like, the game could have fans. Not everyone will dig it, but there's definitely people out there who could enjoy the style of the game and the actual gameplay, but the price is the biggest problem.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like it's trying to be more than it is. The fighting style is so in-depth. Like, when you get the enemy character down to no health, they don't immediately die. They go into vanish mode, and then they take one more hit to die. And then when your enemy's in vanish mode, your enemy can use its final boss system as opposed to just its regular boss system. It just feels so needlessly complicated, and I wanted to try to enjoy this. I really did. I gave it as much benefit of the doubt. I didn't even have any interest in trying the online play at this point because I still didn't really know what I was doing in terms of playing the game. The tutorial explained everything, but nothing stuck. And that's a major problem. There's nothing to convey the mechanics you need in a way that you're going to know before or without playing the game for many, many more hours. And I don't see myself doing that at all, or even recommending other people to do the same.
No, that's a bummer. But if any Virtual On style fans are out there, it might tickle your fancy.
Yeah.
I
wasn't going to mention that. I totally forgot. Thanks, Joe.
Virtual On.
What, tickling fancy?
I love when my fancy gets tickled.
I'm too tired for this shit.
Oh, man. Well,
wow, this is a first, Steve.
On that note, I appreciate you guys coming on and chatting with me. We're going to let you go, and I'm going to switch things up and bring our friend Cole Martin on to chat a little bit. So, Stevo, Shael, thanks for dropping by.
Thank you for having me on. Thank you for having us on.
Shael, you'll have to come back again soon. I kept wanting to get you on for String Theory, and I never heard, and like even
it's still out there. So
even when Pappy was still on the show, he was like, "We should get Shael on to talk about." I'm like, "Well, fucking let's do it. Get him on. Talk to him." And it never happened.
Well,
and now you're back to music.
Yeah, I never stopped doing music. I mean, it's a music video game, But yeah, I guess.
Are you working on any new games?
Yes, I'm working on a game called Mall Senseis, which is the elevator pitch is it's a tactical brawler. It's kind of a midway between Final Fantasy Tactics and River City Ransom, and this time it's not educational at all. So just pure fun. It's a game where you play a sensei who has a dojo in a mall where there was a strange grant that created a situation where there were a lot of dojos in this one mall, and now this government grant is ending, and all the dojos are in a position to fight each other because there is not going to be enough business to support them all. And that is the game. It's going to come to Steam someday. I don't know when. It's me and Chris, the other developer of String Theory, are working on it, and one of the theme songs to the game is called "Stronger Than Them All," parenthetical. Stronger Than the Mall, and that's a Grammar Club song, but it'll come out on my Patreon. Did I mention my Patreon?
No, you haven't. Tell us about your Patreon.
It's patreon.com/the Grammar Club.
All right, we are trading out Stevo because he had a run, and I'm not doing the rest of this show by myself. So of course I'm bringing in some backup. Cole Martin, how are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm doing good. It's been a long show with Stevo, as I'm sure you've sat through and listened to so far.
Always.
He talks so much. I make all these jokes like everyone out there doesn't realize that this is all recorded separately. So what does it matter at this point?
Right.
But
I have no idea about the jokes that were made. I'm sorry.
Oh, me neither. But
spoiler alert, Cole's clueless.
Spoiler alert, it is 3:30 p.m. on Thursday, and we record the actual show at 9 o'clock.
We're just trying to beat my kids home is what's going on here.
In that event, first game that you're here to talk about with me, since we're tackling the rest of the reviews, is called Maize, developed and published by Finish Line Games. Released September 12th on Xbox One and PS4 for $19.99, previously on Steam. Maize is a first-person adventure game about what happens when two scientists misinterpret a memo from the U.S. government and create sentient corn. And that last sentence is pretty much the least ridiculous thing about the game. Explore an abandoned farm and a not-so-abandoned underground research facility as you uncover the mysteries around the maze and possibly learn a bit about yourself along the way. Or maybe not. Even their write-up for the game is ridiculous. Like, when I first went into this game, I thought this was going to be like a first-person horror adventure kind of game. And when it starts off, it kind of is. It's just you walking around this abandoned cornfield, trying to solve some puzzles along your way, like through a farmhouse, and you visit a chicken coop, which I'm sure you'll feel at home at, exploring through a barn and a silo. And then you get to this big door that, when the first time you pass it, you're like, oh, something's going to happen there. That's going to be something big. And that door that you pass is the game actually beginning. Because once you tackle all the stuff around the farm and you get the required items and you go back to the door and you open this door, you hear a twig snapping behind you. So you turn around and nothing's there. And then you turn back around and there's all these gigantic humanized corn staring at you like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck is gonna go on here? And then they all have British accents and they're making jokes. And the game, in my eyes, the game did a complete 180 from like kind of a horror mystery walk-exploration game to, oh, this is going to be something really special. It absolutely is. Like I said, it's a walk-exploration adventure kind of game, finding clues and objects, trying to solve puzzles along the way. The beginning did have a legit creepy vibe to it. And then after that first major plot point hits, you enter with the doors, everything, it just completely changed, and it was for the better in every way. Instead of walking around a cornfield, you're exploring this underground, I don't know if it's necessarily a laboratory, but like this underground bunker that is seemingly inhabited by two people who very, very clearly are at odds with each other. The one is like a complete idiot who thinks he's doing everything. Like, he's ordering statues and brochures and trying to organize trips, and he's leaving post-it notes about it. So much of the story, behind-the-scenes story, is told in post-it notes left around. And the other guy is like, Bob, what are you doing, you idiot? This is a hidden bunker. Why are you organizing tours? Like, this place is huge. Why are you ordering fish tanks for all of the hallway? Like, it's very clearly a guy who just thinks he's doing everything in the most helpful manner, and the other guy fucking hates him for it. Just despises him in every way. And it is absolutely hilarious.
I was about to say, it sounds really humorous.
Yeah. It's very, like, it doesn't start off funny. The game doesn't, when you first start the game, you don't get any kind of inkling that this is going to turn into mostly a comedy game in my eyes. Once you get into the bunker, it retains the walk-exploration aspect from then on and solving puzzles like usual, but the creepy tone of the game has changed into something that's more outright comedy, and it works very well. Puzzles are well and good. There's some kind of backtracking to go in the game, but the story is the meat of the game, and figuring out why you're there, what's going on, why there's this sentient corn that, three of them were having a conversation in the one area. I'm walking in front of them and they just ignore my presence completely. Even like bits of story of like, there's areas that are gated off, and when you accomplish something that allows you to go to the next area, it's like, oh, hey, by pure coincidence, this area is available to you to explore now. Or after, one of the sections early in the game involves you putting together a robotic teddy bear named Vladdy, who might be one of the greatest video game characters ever, and he hates you, by the way. Like, he hates you, he hates that he's having to help you, that he's alive. Everything is stupid to him, everybody are idiots to him, and it is, like, fantastic voice work on whoever voiced Vladdy. I want him to be my best friend forever.
We have to get Vlad on the show now.
I would love to get Vladdy on the show. And the fact, even the subtitles are in Russian. And I'm just sitting there wondering, like, what the fuck is he saying? Because he'll be like, oh, stupid idiot, and then just start talking in Russian for a little bit and then go back to English. The stupid wiring is... If I knew Russian, I'm sure that would mean anything important at all.
I have to say, whoever has been running Finish Line's Twitter feed during the launch of this game, they deserve a raise. It's been, I've laughed every time it's come across my feed for like 4 days straight. So yeah. I don't know who's responsible for that, but it's very, it's funny. Like, every way that they could insert themselves with Maize. Like, they were like, oh, don't buy Apple, buy our game instead, it's cheaper. It was just absolutely hilarious the way they lined everything up for the last few days with Vladdy and the corn. And
I want them on this show so bad. So very bad. Clearly, the game has collectibles in there that you could pick up. Achievement-wise, a lot of them are just story progression. There's one for getting all the collectibles in the game. And then there's one for beating the game in under 2 hours and 10 minutes. So I'll say your first run through the game is not going to be a 2 hour run because you're, unless you bitch out and use a guide. But I think a game like this, it's not about being a difficult puzzler game. I feel walk-exploration games are more about figuring out what you need and where to go and doing it instead of getting stuck and getting lost on like a brutally difficult number puzzle or something. So this isn't a game that's going to require a guide. I would save that for a second playthrough if you're missing any kind of collectibles and if you're dead set on trying to speedrun it for that achievement. The rest of the achievements, I believe, are all just story-related. The biggest problem with me with this game is that there are some very, very noticeable frame rate problems in the game.
That's a bummer.
Especially above ground when you're walking around the cornfields. Like, there are very noticeable chugs and drops to the game. I don't know if it's just in need of optimization or if it's just the original Xbox One systems aren't as powerful as needed to run it completely smoothly. When I was underground, things ran a lot better. There's still drops here and there, but for the most part, it seems like all the corn stalks that they rendered above ground are what threw it off.
Too much corn.
Yeah. And then twice during the game, I actually had it lock up on me during a loading screen where it just loaded forever. The first time it happened, I was like, wow, load times in this game are pretty rough. I didn't think it was that hard loading into the game. And after like 2 or 3 minutes passed, I'm like, something's got to be wrong. So I just dashboarded, went back in, and it loaded up in like 10 seconds. So it's not the loading times that are the issues. It just got stuck loading. Twice it happened.
I'm always terrified when something freezes on the loading screen. No, you've corrupted your save and you're fucked. Do it all over from the beginning. So like when I hear something froze during the loading screen, like I develop anxiety instantly and don't crash my save. I'm easily made paranoid apparently, but
yeah, I don't know. I figure as long as it's on the loading, everything save-wise is done.
Yeah.
But yeah, for $20, I know when CJ covered this on Steam, he was raving about it, and he said it's an absolute must-own, and I agree. This game is hilarious. It's fantastic. It looks great. It plays well for the most part when the frame rate is behaving, and it is so fucking funny. I need more sentient corn and Vladdy in my life, and so do you. So for $20, you got to buy Maize.
Nice.
Indeed. Next game to talk about is called Time Recoil, developed and published by our friends at 10 Tons. It released September 12th on PS4, September 15th on Xbox One for $13.99. Time Recoil is a top-down shooter where you kill to slow time, enter slow-motion gunfights, and gain special moves. The satisfaction of punching through walls while time slows down is beyond words to describe. You must experience it yourself. We had our friend Greg Middleton write a review for this one, and Cole, you're going to do some email reviews for us, aren't you?
I am. You guys have clearly decided you need some more of this redneck accent in your show. So here I am.
I figure it's better than me talking for 20 minutes straight.
I mean,
and we all know CJ can't read.
Helium, so. All right, let's get. I'm just reading this straight from the email. That's how I'm going to roll. All right. Plan your attack, slow down time itself, and maximize the destruction you leave in your wake. Time Recoil sees you play as Alexa, a woman who, due to laboratory accident, comes away with the ability to time travel and slow down time while in combat. Chaining kills can prolong the bullet time for more of a tactical advantage. Larger kill chains unlock additional dash and blast special abilities, so you have to change the past to alter the future. The story is unfortunately forgettable. Now hear me out, it's forgettable because the gameplay is so good. I was skipping dialogue and story exposition quickly. because all I wanted to do was get back into the action. There is an evil mad scientist called Mr. Time who takes over Europe and destroys Paris. You and the Resistance have to stop him. The levels are all very similar in design, mainly office buildings or government secure locations, and you go through these levels killing, collecting, or talking to people. Do you collect people? Are we killing and collecting people? Okay.
Well, you kill people and then collect other people. The story, I know he skipped a lot of the story, but batches of the story require you to jump back in time and save people from their timeline and bring them to your current timeline.
Okay, so like an escort mission.
Kind of, yeah.
In a way, yeah. All right, the killing levels, which is 95% of them, are without a doubt the gold seal on this game. Man, it is fun, extremely addictive, and it really shows that 10 Tons Limited are good at making top-down shooters. The levels are only about 3 to 5 minutes long, which is good, especially if you die mid-level, as it doesn't feel like a slog going through the level from the beginning again. As a twin-stick shooter with a tactical bullet time gameplay, you'll find yourself having to work out the order in which you kill people, when to use your special abilities like the dash attack that can take out a few guys at once. Ammo is going to be hard to find if you're running around trigger happy, as it really helps to think of this as a top-down Max Payne style game mixed with something like Hotline Miami. The game has 50 levels to tackle, and once you've finished, you can either tackle them again on higher difficulty settings or try out the time trial levels. I found this to be a great game to play when you have a spare 5 to 10 minutes free, as you knock out a couple of levels. If you were to play it nonstop, you could probably finish the story anywhere between 2 to 4 hours. Graphics are fine. The 90s soundtrack I really liked and had no issue with the sound effects. Loading was quick and the game ran smoothly throughout. This is a good game that I really enjoyed playing and reviewing. Would have loved some more levels with different environments, but the gameplay and controls make up for it and are great. This game is a day one purchase and not to be missed. It's interesting. While writing this review, it made me really want a Max Payne top-down shooter, or heck, even a decent Terminator game would be nice.
Yeah, I will echo what he said. The game is tons of fun. I've tried it on the Xbox as well to go with his PS4 coverage, and holy hell is the game a blast. The story, it's story's gonna story. It's there. It helps move everything along, but the gameplay is just so fucking satisfying in the game.
Well, now I'm a little sad that you don't actually collect people.
Well, you do collect the people. You have to go rescue them.
I want to put them in a display case and save them. And
you can't fit a person in your pocket.
If you can have time travel powers, you can put people in your pocket. It's called artistic license.
All right, 10 Tons. Are you listening? Your next game, you need to be able to collect people and fit them in your pocket.
I want to put people in my pocket.
And who knows? Maybe it'll happen. They've been working on so many games lately, and I'm always happy when I see a new 10 Tons game in our inbox, because I know it's going to be good. I don't think they make bad games.
No, they really don't.
Next game to talk about is called Planet of the Eyes, developed and published by Coco Cucumber, released September 12th on Xbox One and PS4 for $9.99, previously available on Steam, an atmospheric narrative platformer about a service robot stranded on a mysterious planet. Planet of the Eyes features a stunning visual mix of puzzle and platforming challenges, an original musical score, and fully voiced audio logs left by another survivor. Explore the mystery of an unknown world. As you can expect, this is an adventure puzzle platformer, very much in the similar vein of Limbo. I know we always go back to Limbo when talking about games like these, but it was the first real known one, so the comparison's going to happen. As opposed to just being black and white like Limbo was, this game has a gorgeous, gorgeous art style, plenty of colors, lots to see and do, and just because it has the Limbo formula of like stark blacks against other, in Limbo's case, like a faded whites in the game, it retains that feeling, but it doesn't make everything look murky. Everything looks good. The designs are beautiful in the game. Gameplay, pretty much walk to the right and accomplish puzzles as you go through. Some of the puzzles are going to require pushing blocks and climbing things, and you're clearly going to run into a handful of cheap deaths like in Limbo, just because, that's what those games do. It's go, die, and then be like, oh, I had to do something different before that. None of the puzzles in the game are too difficult that you shouldn't be able to figure it out on your own. The game is fairly short. I will say that I completed the game with all achievements in under 2 hours.
With no guide?
No guide.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, I'm one of those more adventurous gamers, so like ever since I played Limbo, I know in games like this, go backwards at the start.
Yeah. And
there's an achievement back there. Most people will most likely completely miss that one because, you just crashed onto a planet from a ship. Let me walk forward instead of climbing over the ship and looking behind you. There's goofy achievements for like trying to climb a wall in a certain area, for finding a very specific hidden spot in a wall. There's one for jumping into a pipe you would normally never have a need to jump into. Like, they have a nice variety of achievements in there. Many of them are missable. So if you get through the game and you're missing a bunch of achievements, then go to a guide and figure out what you missed if you're that hard up for your gamer score. But to beat the game, I don't think a guide is necessary. Everything is intuitive enough to get through, and it's a really enjoyable experience. The fact that it's only $10 makes it a fairly easy recommendation. I give it a recommended try. A higher price point would have made it much harder to recommend, but for $10, despite it being fairly short, it's really memorable, really good looking game, enjoyable, and a great way to kill an afternoon. So for, again, $10, a very recommended try it. And that's that.
Nice. I just keep saying nice.
Hey, that works. Whatever works.
Because I haven't played these games, so I don't have any, legitimate commentary to throw out there.
You got to work on your uhs and, oh, that's interesting. Yeah. And
I feel as if I'm being groomed for co-host here.
Maybe. Next game to talk about, we're actually going to, since we just tagged you in, I got to tag you out and bring my friend Jacob in to talk for a bit. So let's pretend that this is actually happening right now and I'm not just haphazardly editing shit together. Sound good?
Sounds good. Good luck, Jacob.
All right, next game to talk about is called Ninja Surfer, developed by Arclight Entertainment Studios. It released September 5th on iOS and Android as a free-to-play game with microtransactions. The Galactic Armada has stolen plans for the Philosopher's Stone from Dr. Inventor. Aha! Now the good doctor has ordered Ninja Steve to steal it back. Predictably, Steve finds it easy to infiltrate the facility, but on his way out, Steve trips the security system and unleashes a storm of lasers and tactical neutron missiles upon himself. As he runs towards the exit, a strategic backflip lands Steve on one of the missiles, and here's where the adventure begins. Our friend Jacob Garner's covering this one, and Jacob, how the hell are you doing?
I'm doing okay. Insane and tired because I just had my second kid.
Fun.
So it's looking like I'm going to get an Xbox One around 2025, I think.
You're a dickhead.
Hey, I just got a Kinect on Saturday for $5.
Yeah, for the 360, dick.
Hey, all right. I've joined 2010. It's pretty nice.
Microsoft already gave up on the newer Kinect, so. But yeah, it's good having you on here instead of another email review, which I'm sure your next one will be emailed in because it's not ready for right now. Yay for pre-recorded stuff. So what the hell's Ninja Surfer?
All right, so it's a simple horizontal scrolling shoot 'em up style game. The developer calls it a runner, kind of like that Sonic the Hedgehog and like the Minions Run kind of thing. Although it's really not. I'd say it's closer like the Mega Man 2 levels where you were on Rush, or the precursor to Rush. that kind of thing. And it features you as a ninja riding a missile, slashing at things that are in your way. The game features two modes, story and endless modes, and I found myself visiting the endless mode far more often. The story mode tries to explain why you're on this quest through space, and it uses difficult gameplay and poorly drawn comics to explain why. The endless mode is what you'd expect, and I found it to be a much richer experience, despite there not being a whole lot to this game itself. The game isn't packing much of a punch. The graphics, while having interesting details in the background, is nothing to get excited about, and the sounds are standard. The music's fairly forgettable, and I remember the menu music being pretty much like elevator music. The gameplay itself is difficult at times thanks to the controls, which they seem to be pretty sluggish in my opinion. I know you and I are going to discuss it like a little bit more because the controls are a little wonky too.
Yeah, I was going to say, you could barely tell that you're just reading your review right now.
You know what? Whatever.
See, first off, I got to disagree with you that I think this is a runner. I think it's very similar to like Jetpack Joyride. Just because it's not like a temple runner doesn't mean it's not a runner. It's just a horizontal runner instead of like the 3D straight ahead.
Yeah, but then would you call something like Defender a runner?
No, because you're controlling going left and right. In this game, it's just an auto-scrolling, you move up and down. And you go as far as you can. There's no end game. It's just an auto runner. Play until you're done.
I get that. I don't know. I don't view it as a runner. I view it as a scrolling thing.
I view it as you being wrong.
I view it as you being a dick, as per usual. And it's 1:30 in the morning, so whatever.
No, it is 1:44. Get it right.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, my kitchen wall clock says it's 1:46, so maybe you should shut up.
Meet in the middle, 1:45. Anyway, you mentioned the controls. The controls are my biggest gripe with the game. The fact that they have navigation tied to your right hand to move up and down and attack to your left hand goes against basically every other game I've played on mobile.
I'll agree with that. Although, I don't know. I didn't think it was that bad because the game actually doesn't throw enough at you to really make it that terrible, as far as like I could tell anyway.
What was your high score?
It was like 4,000 something.
Mine was 10. Something. They throw a lot of shit at you later on in the game.
Oh.
and having a finger in the way very, very much impacts it.
Okay. I mean, like most of what I encountered, it was just like, oh, well, here come those space fighter things again. So like, here's a warning. Okay, I'll slowly move my guy up. So I don't know. I didn't really have that much of an issue with the controls, although it took me a while to figure. Of course, this is the usual thing where it takes me a while to figure them out anyway, which is standard when we talk about me playing video games. Because as it turns out, you have to have both left and right fingers on the screen at the same time. Like, you have to be direct. Like, even if your guy's not moving, you still need to be like directing him by having your finger on the screen. Otherwise, when you hit the attack button, it makes your guy move downwards. Which, I mean, yeah, technically that's correct because that is how you would move in space. But that's a bit of a pain that the game doesn't actually like. The game really doesn't take a lot of time to explain much of anything to you in retrospect. So, yeah.
That's it. You're just stopping right there.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like the controls are wonky. I didn't mind them too much. It's just the game doesn't explain like how everything works.
No, I just, the fact that you scroll to the right, but your right hand has to be moving you up and down, covering part of the screen, I think is such a no-no in mobile gaming. And then there's the fact that you have to hold the screen and move up and down, but it goes all the way to the edges of the screen. On an iPad, I could see that not being a huge deal. On a phone, when your finger gets to the edge of the screen and you're still trying to move up to get all the way to the top, your finger just flips off the side.
That actually was an issue, because I noticed, like, if I got to the very bottom of the screen, like, and I tried to move them back up, that was a bit of an issue right there. Now that you mention it. But, I didn't have that much of an issue, like, making small movements here and there. And we both have pretty big fingers to be doing a bunch of iPhone gaming, so I don't know. I didn't have as much issue with it. It's just I thought it was sluggish and at times a tad unresponsive.
Yeah, I don't know. I wish there was a way to flip the shoot or the attack button over to the right-hand side and play it normally. Then again, I honestly prefer the jetpack joyride method of, like, tap the button to fly higher, let go to start going down method, as opposed to steer up and down, just because of how close to the edges you need to get with some of the movements in this game. Given that it's a free-to-play game, we can't really give it, like, a buy-it kind of recommendation. So, as free-to-play, is it at least worth downloading and checking out, in your opinion?
Well, I didn't even finish discussing everything I wrote down yet.
Well, then what did you want to... You paused for, like, 40 seconds earlier.
I didn't pause for, like, 40 seconds. It was just like, oh, I thought Joe was going to say something else about, like, the controls and stuff. All right, anyway.
Listen, bitch.
Betch. So the missile, your sword, and costumes are all upgradable with varying levels of helpfulness. Items are upgraded by collecting coins throughout levels, but you can hit up the store to purchase currency or watch some advertisements each day and get free currency. Of course, if you want to get the really good stuff, you'll have to play the game a decent amount, but that involves you caring enough to make it the whole way. Interestingly enough, if you sit back and collect 2,500 coins each day for 2 days, you're going to earn your first sword upgrade without ever having had to play the game. And if you really feel like waiting, I mean, like, you could do the same with all the other upgrades. Like, the game never actually forces you to play itself, which is, I thought that was kind of weird. To put it plainly, if the game had been released in the mid-2000s on Newgrounds, this would have been considered an awesome release, but it's 2017. I thought it was fairly forgettable. The endless mode of the game is the only real fun that I had. And while it's got a feature that lets you brag on Facebook about your high score, Joe and I realized that I can't see him on my own leaderboard. Joe can see me, but Joe's own score isn't updated on the leaderboard. So it's just like, who knows when the leaderboards ever get updated?
Nah, I don't know.
Yeah. So
yeah, recommendation, what do you think?
I'd recommend checking it out for the endless mode, but that's really all that there is to it. It's really not high on my recommendation list. It's a simple time killer. And I will give it this one plus. The developer did update it while I was in the review period, so I always take that as a plus because it means that they're constantly working on the game. So hopefully they'll take your recommendation of, like, flipping the controls to heart.
Or at least make it an option to choose which side of the screen you want the attack on. If they put that in there, I will happily go back, give it another go. I don't see myself spending money on this game.
No,
I don't.
Absolutely not. Like, because the thing is like, you can just watch enough ads each day. Like, the game's fairly like the game's not particularly difficult, and on top of it, the videos, like, you can easily rack up a decent amount of coins fairly quickly. Like, yeah, I wouldn't be spending money on it either.
All right, sounds good. Well, I guess that's it.
All right.
Any final words to sum it up?
No, not really. I check it out for the endless mode, but that's it.
Cool. Burn in hell.
All right, you too.
All right, we are tagging out Jacob and tagging in someone new. Tim Ekibiz, welcome back to the show. How are you doing?
Fresh man hitting the ring, hot tag. Putting out some forearms and some clotheslines and some backdrops.
I can't wait. Man, I would love to see that happen. You just get the hot tag, run in there.
Oh, man. Really missed it. Well, no, we did. We totally had a hot tag in X Strike. In that first episode of Off Campus, Ultimo Mysterio takes the hot tag and then wrecks all the zombies.
So good. So good. No, I don't think anyone knows what we're talking about with Off Campus.
No, but you should definitely look up X Strike Studios, and eventually you'll find your way there. That was going to be like a running thing throughout the entire run of the first season. Like the original first season is that he would tag in to get us out of trouble. That was like the ultimate, Deus Ex Mysterio.
We need a comeback.
Yeah.
We need the return.
Keep wishing. In the meantime,
you are here to talk about the brand new DLC for Shantae half-genie hero called Pirate Queen's Quest. Yes, Shantae. Developed and published by WayForward, the DLC released August 29th on Xbox One, PS4, PS Vita, Switch, Wii U, and Steam for $9.99. Shantae half-genie hero is required and sold separately, obviously. Raise anchor and prepare your body for a total reimagining of the base game's playstyle, theme, and storyline. You've played the genie half, now experience the other half side story. As the villainous pirate Risky Boots, your quest is to travel the world in search of components needed to conquer Sequinland and defeat the half-genie brat. Tim, what'd you think of the DLC? And the game in general.
The game in general. Man, let me tell you, that music is garbage. Who did that? Fuck that guy.
That scrub.
Yeah. I guess full disclosure that the music was done by a guy that we've known for a long time, Mr. Jay Kaufman.
Indeed.
But I don't know. His music's always been pretty fucking good for years and years and years, so it's no surprise that the music here is also pretty good. He's been the composer on the series since it started.
Yeah.
Back on the Game Boy Color.
Back in the day. Yeah,
that is for those that don't know, the original Shantae for Game Boy Color, that is the most expensive cartridge for that system.
Like $700-800 now? Something ridiculous.
I think for a cart only, it won't run you that much, but it'll do you a pretty bad one.
It'll make you cry.
It's for a little Game Boy cart. But anyways, Shantae half-genie hero, and I can't really talk about the DLC without talking about the main game, because I actually hadn't played half-genie hero, so this is like 2 reviews in one, almost. And actually, so show a little bit of background. Half-genie hero was kickstarted some years ago. Like, my brain tells me it was around the same time as Mighty Number 9, but I feel like WayForward didn't take that long to make their game. But they kickstarted it so they could, previously the Shantae games had lived like on portables. They were like smaller scale, not as much production value. But half-genie hero is like their first jump into like consoles, into a higher production value game. And boy, does it show, because holy crap, the art in this game is just phenomenal. It is so sharp and the animations are so good. It's a, both half-genie hero and Pirate Queen's Quest. They're like old school 2D action platformer games, which I don't know. I feel like WayForward was trying to get on reviving that genre before, the whole indie phenomenon started up and everybody started trying to do that. And WayForward is pretty good at it. So half-genie hero, from playing that game is a little bit more robust than its DLC, which I guess is to be expected. It's a little, just the world is more fleshed out. There's more quests. There's more stuff to do. There's more powers to find. Just more characters to interact with. Blah blah blah. Pirate Queen's Quest is more straightforward. If you want to make a comparison to Shovel Knight, this is kind of like the Plague Knight quest or the Spectre Knight quest, in that it takes all the levels and stuff that was in half-genie hero, and then you have a new character, one of the villains, or the villain in the case of this, because you're Risky Boots, the dastardly Risky Boots, Shantae's arch nemesis, and she is going around trying to collect these ancient artifacts that are hidden around the world, having to traverse the same stages that Shantae did on the and the half-genie hero side of things, albeit with a different set of abilities. Most notably, I'd say, is that Risky has a gun, and she picks up a few different ammo types around the levels. She has like a spread shot, she has a homing missile, and then like her standard shot. Shantae picks up her upgrades by just like spending currency in town, but with Risky you have to find these hidden gems around the levels, and each time you finish a level with Risky you unlock a new movement ability, basically, which allows you to go back into previously cleared levels to like look for more secrets and stuff. And in the Risky side, you can tackle the levels in any order. But I didn't do like 2 playthroughs. I'm pretty sure you still get your powers in the same order, but maybe it's tied to stage. I'm not really sure. Doesn't matter. By the time you get through, all 5 of the main stages, you'll have everything, I assume. But yeah, it's really fun. It's just like both sides of it are really fun. I don't know. I wouldn't recommend playing them simultaneously like I was doing for this review, because both sides have a lot, perhaps a bit too much backtracking through levels to uncover more secrets. Like in both sides, you have to do it with both characters. With Shantae, there's just moments where you have to clear other quests or find other powers in order to proceed in the story. And with Risky, you need to backtrack in order to power up your character. But also there's these I think there's like 15 genie gems or something like that. They're not called genie gems, but it's something really close to that.
They're called genie gems now.
They are genie gems? These fucking genie gems. Whatever. They're going to get you into the genie world. So Risky can go in their direction. I don't know. They're just little things that genies crap out all over the world. Yeah. So there's a bit of a collect quest towards the end of Pirate Queen's quest to get to find all of those and unlock the last level, which can be kind of irritating. Definitely gives you pangs of the goddamn treasure quest at the end of Wind Waker, though nothing in gaming will ever be that tedious and annoying.
Oh man, I don't want to talk about it. Gonna have flashbacks.
Yeah, I know, right? There's a reason they sped all that up in the remake. But you're facing the same bosses. You're more or less going through the same levels, though they change up some of the platforming challenges to account for kind of your different abilities, and some different enemies here and there. So, like, especially if you played Half Genie Hero last year, and you that game kind of still rests in your mind. Like, yeah, you should. You are so super fucking ready to play Pirate Queen's Quest now, like a year later. Like, hell yeah. Like, whenever a new Shovel Knight game comes out, like, I'm all about it, because that I've had enough distance from previous Shovel Knights. Of course, before whatever, that's not important, not germane. So yeah, how much is the DLC on its own?
DLC is $10.
$10, yeah, you'll get your money's worth out of that. Like, it's the quest seems maybe a little shorter than the Shantae side, just because there's a bit less backtracking, but you'll definitely get your $10 bang out of that DLC. And if you don't have either, if you don't have Half Genie Hero, then I would absolutely recommend picking up that. I mean, obviously you have to in order to play the DLC, but that game unto itself is a very good old school platformer with great production values, great music. It's just like, I just love the music in the town and just watching Shantae just stand there and like swing her hips around.
And while you're at it, go get the soundtrack too. Right?
Hell yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm sure he must have it up on Bandcamp or something like that. He usually does.
I'm pretty sure.
And,
fuck it, I'll play it on this show too. How about that? I don't know if I had plans to play music on this show already or not, but we're gonna play some goddamn Shantae.
Hell yeah. I think the game normally is $15. If you're like the frugal type, you'll probably be able to get a nice package on a Steam sale at some point in the near future. But I highly recommend both pieces of this package.
Sounds good. Well, Tim, thank you so much for tackling that one for us. And a fun little note, Mighty Number 9's Kickstarter started on August 31st, 2013. Shantae, September 4th, 2013.
Wow, and it took Half-Genie Hero a little bit longer to come out.
But they made the most of their time.
Yeah, they made a good game and didn't piss everyone off. So like no one was mad that it took them 3 years to release it. I don't. Maybe some people were, but
because I remember
not like Mighty Number 9.
I remember at that time I was like, oh man, Mighty Number 9 looks really cool. I want to kickstart that. But Shantae looks really cool. I want to kickstart that. I could pick one. I went Shantae.
Nice. Oh, you made the correct decision, sir. I did not. I was caught up in the zeitgeist of Mighty Number 9 and regretted it almost immediately. Like maybe about a week later, I'm like, I shouldn't have done this. They didn't need my help, and I already don't like where this is going. But that's a whole other thing. Shantae is a great game.
It is.
Mighty Number 9 is not.
Maybe if Mighty Number 9 had music from Vert, it'd be a lot better.
It would be. It would definitely be better. That's for sure, no doubt.
Very true. Well, again, Tim, thanks so much for doing this, and I'm gonna tag you back out and tag in Cole.
They've been working my leg.
All right, so editing. Next game to talk about is called Dream Break, developed by Aced, published by Digerati Distribution and Beat Shapers. Release September 12th on PS4, September 15th on Xbox One for $9.99. Dream Break is an adventure set in an alternative post-war USSR. A quirky and unique mix of clashing gameplay genres. Get fingered for murder in Soviet Russia without actually going there. And that is a direct quote from their synopsis, which I couldn't in good conscience ever change that. Our friend Dark Mika covered this one, and Cole, you're going to do another email one for us.
I'm going to read some more. Are you tired of me reading it?
Nope, because that means I don't have to.
All right, then let's go. Dream Break is an adventure puzzle game with a sprite art style. I'm going to interject to say that's like the pixel art for the sprites. You play as a man named Eugene in Soviet-controlled future Russia. The game is around 2 hours long, max to do everything. So I can't really say much about the story, or it'll give it all away. I spent around 2 hours and 10 minutes playing the game, and I spent a lot of time playing in the game arcade because it was amusingly easy, and I wanted to amass a lot of in-game money, assuming I'd need a bunch. But you really don't. My efforts were wasted. I personally like sprite and pixel art style, so the art was great for me, and the music was really good. Gameplay is so easy a child could play this, and I'm not joking. The puzzles are fairly easy. I had to redo a couple of them a few times to get them right, but most of them I got on the first try without any issue. The issue with the game is that the characters control oddly, to me, in this day. You tap to the side and your character moves more than just that tap. They take a stride and a half. That's hard to get used to since now in games your character stops moving when you stop pushing the button. This makes the platform fragments more difficult than they would be otherwise. They're still mostly easy. You'll get frustrated when you die doing platform stuff when you don't jump over something because you held the button to the side just a bit too long. There's only one section of the game that's hard to do, and that's the first vehicle scene. You have to hack robots to make them not disable the car. It's not hard to do in and of itself. The issue is simply that you have to deal with so many robots, and each one has its own timer for how long till the car is disabled. Just too many show up, making this one section pretty frustrating, and worse, it's near the very start of the game. This one little section could make someone rage quit and not finish the short game, which is a shame because the story is decent. It won't win any awards, but it's good. Because of its length, there's no character development. There's very few lines of text from any individual, even so there's not a great deal of personality for any character, including Eugene himself. No real twists in the story or anything either, again, likely due to time constraints, but it's not much about character, it's about the generalized story. which, as stated, is good. Not award-winning, but it is good. This is simply a fun little game. It's not hard, it's not super story or character invested, and it's something small and fun. For $10 on the X1 and $7 on Steam, or $10.50 if you want the digital art book and such. I have to say, $5 an hour for gameplay is rather steep. To me, this might be worth $5. It's fun and short, but it's not great. So I'd go past at full price, but try it on a good 50% or more sale.
I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, I literally just reviewed a game that was like another near 2-hour game at $10. I think if the game is done well, and it sounds like that game changes up the gameplay a lot more than what Planet of the Eyes did. I don't know. I think $10 for an indie game is basically the normal price at this point.
Right. I mean, if you pay $60 for a AAA, I don't see $10 for indies as being outlandish generally. Even if it's short. Now, if it was like a 15 or 20 minute game, I'd probably feel a little more problematic. Unless you just really wanted some really quick gamer score. Because some people will pay a fuck ton of money just to get a quick 1,000 Gs.
True. I don't know. I think $10 for a 2-hour game is kind of standard at this point. And I won't hold that against anyone. Now, if this was a $20 game, I could see there being an issue with the price. $15, probably an issue with the price. $10, you could kind of wish it was a bit longer, but for the most part, you know, I think it is what it is. It's fine.
There are a few games that have come out, one that I am particularly notorious on this show for not enjoying, that, you know, can be completed in under an hour and actually give you achievements for doing so. And they're way pricier, you know. I mean...
was that the one that you and CJ used to measure dicks over?
Yeah. I don't even got a dick, but mine was longer than his.
I forget what game that was.
Little Acre.
Oh, yeah. Little Acre.
And to be fair... Like, it's not an end-all, be-all, because I played Broken Age, and Broken Age had an achievement to beat it in an hour. I didn't get it, because fuck speedrunning, but I really enjoyed Broken Age, whereas I did not enjoy Little Acre. So, sometimes the length of gameplay isn't everything. You can beat a game in under an hour, and it still just have a really good story and be fun.
No.
So, you know.
I don't know. Moving on, the next game to talk about is called Dead Alliance, developed by Ilphonic and Psyop Games, published by Maximum Games. It released August 29th on Xbox One, PS4, and Steam for $39.99. A multiplayer edition is available for $24.99, with single-player content upgrade available for $19.99. Dead Alliance is a fast-paced multiplayer first-person zombie shooter set in a post-apocalyptic world where former military bases have been turned into the only remaining city-states. Build your squad and take strategic control of bases across maps infected with zombies. Use the dead themselves as weapons against your opposing faction. The world is a wasteland, and your only hope for survival is to use the dead or join them. This is basically, for the most part, a multiplayer-only game. I'm going to base this off the full version of the game, considering you're able to buy it kind of piecemeal with the multiplayer edition and then get the single-player content later. The single-player portion is mostly just offline with bots, which is good, you know, good as training, but it doesn't replicate like a full-on campaign or a story. There's also a survival mode to it, but I didn't really get to dabble in that too much. Just a round or two there, and it was, you know, live as long as you can. It's, for the most part, gameplay-wise, a standard PvP modes like Capture the Flag, Team Deathmatch, King of the Hill, stuff like that, but with the added element of zombies littering the course. You're able to use, they have two kind of throwable weapons in the game, grenades, and there's a multitude of grenades that do different things, and then there's distractors, which if you throw that on the ground, zombies will just, you know, nearby zombies will just wander to that. So you'll have a nice group of zombies. And if you throw the one grenade I think it's called the PAM, it turns zombies to your side for a limited time. So if you throw Distractor and get a group of zombies there and then chuck a PAM grenade at them, you can have like 3, 4, 5 zombies enraged going to kill your enemies.
Oh, I could get on board with that.
And you get points when they kill them. So team deathmatch, there was a team deathmatch game that I ended up having, I want to say like 15 kills just by the zombie.
Wow.
It was pretty fantastic. The stronger zombies can even score a bigger chunk of kills too, because there's a handful of different zombies walking around. Most of them are just your standard shambly and weak, and they'll hit you and do a little bit of damage, but nothing crazy. And then there's bigger, hulkier ones that have more deformations, and if you can hit them with a grenade and get them on your side, they're gonna kick some ass. One of the other grenades, instead of, if you throw it at a group of zombies, it'll only turn one of them to your side, but he's even stronger and he lasts longer with more health. So it all comes down to your loadout. They have multiple kill streak perks during the game as well, where, one of them you can enable spies in the game, which will show you the location nearby of all the enemies, all the zombies, so you'll see them all on your map. One of them, I think it just drops grenades on the one segment of the map and tries to kill enemies. And then a third one will, I don't know if it's one or if it's multiple, it just turns a handful of zombies in a segment to your side. So you have an army raging for you against the enemy, it is always awesome to see just the enemy zombies join you and wreck some shit. The online play felt fine. It was a very, very short wait time to get into a game, and I was playing in the middle of the night, and the fact that I didn't have to wait longer than 15 seconds to get a match, I was impressed with.
Yeah, usually, was it a weeknight or a weekend?
Weekday. Yeah.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah, middle of the week at 3 a.m, and I got into a game within 15 seconds. Yeah, it was a full game too.
That's
so
special.
Given all the disconnections I had in Destiny, I was surprised at how quick I was able to get into a game there. The online play is just standard, same as everything else, except you're playing against real humans that'll kick your ass much better than AI computers will. This is another game with definite frame rate issues in the game. It's noticeable, but nothing unplayable. The graphics as a whole aren't super stellar, but they're okay enough to get the job done. It's playable. It does what it needs to do. I wish there was more in the form of some kind of tutorial in the game. When you start at the main menu, there's a tutorial option, and it basically just shows a video of the distractors and some of the grenades. And that's it. It's a very lackluster tutorial. And even in matches, because I immediately went to quick play, and all the different loadouts, they have all these different icons and equipments. I'm like, what the fuck is that? What is that? What is that? My kill streaks were coming up. I'm like, what the fuck do these do? I don't know what. There's not enough. The only way you could figure out what those do is to go and create your own loadout and figure out, you sit there and read what the abilities of each of the items are. But I don't know, it feels like that's too much work in a game that's all about getting into matches and killing things right away.
Yeah. Games in general just need better tutorials. I don't know what... Although, to be fair, Fortnite had tutorials for days and everybody bitched about it. So maybe they don't. Maybe everybody's happier with the lack of tutorials. But I'm with you. Whenever there's not enough to tell me how to basically play a game, I'm just like, I'm dumb. Talk to me like I'm dumb.
Playing the game isn't the hard part. It's all your items and accessories and whatnot, what they do, what they accomplish. And it wasn't until I went into making my own loadout, which I really don't do in games. I'll just use whatever they give me and adapt to that instead of like, oh, well, I want this game, but I want this gun with this grip and this type of ammo with this extra bone. Like, just give me shit to use and kill. I figure loadout stuff is for those who are hardcore about getting the perfect loadout. I just wanted to play the game, and to really get the most out of the game, you have to go into the loadout section, and even if you don't create your own, you want to sit and read what all the abilities and items are, because it's not going to tell you any other way. For $25, if you were just getting the multiplayer edition of the game, I'd give it a try. It's an enjoyable game. The fact that it already has a significant enough player base that I was able to get around going at 3 a.m. I mean, that sounds better than the 50 players playing Lawbreakers on Steam, huh? The single player upgrade for $20, or if you just get the full $40 game, that comes down to if you would rather, I think that's good for people who aren't hardcore shooter gamers and they would want some time offline to play against bots and to take their time learning the game and learning the maps, and even having a survival mode so that they could play by themselves. Because if you get the multiplayer mode, you don't get offline with bots. You are literally just buying the online game.
Online. It's an odd way to do it, though.
But for those who don't care about the single-player content, at least it's an option, which I think is a pretty cool idea. For people new to the shooter genre, I think there's better shooters out there, but this one, it's decent enough. It serves a purpose. I think it's unique enough with the zombies on the course that you could turn to your favor. It's not doing anything hugely new in the genre, aside from the whole unique twist with the zombies out there. But it's fun. It's enjoyable. And if they could get a couple of patches in here to get the game running a bit smoother, I think it could definitely be a dark horse hidden gem out there. So, yeah, definitely try it. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Cool. One more game for you to talk about, and that is called Transcripted, developed by Okami and Seven Studio, published by Plug-in Digital, released September 13th on Xbox One and PS4 for $7.99, coming to the Switch as well, previously on Steam. In Transcripted, players take control of the nanoprobe, a microscopic apparatus used to combat disease, with the aid of a skill tree that improves ship equipment, health, shields, and the nanoprobe's arsenal of upgradable weapons. Players must successfully navigate through hordes of deadly pathogens to destroy the disease's pseudo-DNA as it twines perilously on its endless path to infection. What the fuck did any of that mean?
This game is so weird, but so well done. and it's... My little geeky biology side was just like, I like all of this because I understand all of that. I actually understand it all. So if you're geeky already and like biology is a thing for you, you don't even need to finish listening to me. Just buy this and be done with it. But for everybody else, this game is a hybrid twin stick shooter and match 3. So if you think of what's a good little twin stick shooter where you just have like a little spaceship floating around? Not even like asteroids. Kind of like asteroids, actually. But you have your little, it's called a nanopod, which is your little, not quite a ship, but everything is taking place on a microscopic level. And you play as Adam, who has control of the nanopod, and basically he's trying to stop this infection from spreading, and he is studying these microscopic samples in doing so. There are 25 samples which serve as your campaign, 25 different chapters, and they all have these animated backgrounds that kind of symbolize different parts of the body to give you an idea of where the samples came from. You use the nanopod to destroy... I don't think there's an exact word given for the enemies in here. I'm just going to say they're bacteria. They kind of resemble bacteria or a virus. It's like I said, it's all on a microscopic level. So there's these little, the bacteria floating around, and you use the nanopod. It has the ability to shoot, and you control it like a twin stick. Of course, left stick moves you around. Right stick aims. In this regard, though, instead of that right stick just flat out shooting, you do have to pull the left trigger. There's a reason for that, though, because once you destroy one of the little floating enemy bacteria floating around, they will drop a cube. Use the nanopod to pick these cubes up, and each level will have a match 3 segment. Think Sparkle and Zuma.
Gotcha.
So you'll have the cubes in the little line, and it's moving, and you will have to take the cubes you pick up from destroying the bacteria to shoot into the match 3 section. So that's where you've got the hybrid of the match 3 and the twin stick working together. And that's also why you can't just fire aimlessly with your right stick. You use the left trigger instead. That way you have a little more control over aiming where your cubes are going to go when you shoot them into the line. It's surprisingly easy, but for those that are better at shooters or at match 3s, it has dual difficulty settings that run tandem. So you can set down the difficulty of shooting, but leave the match 3 difficulty at its highest level if you choose, or you can set them both down to easiest levels or both up to hardest or anywhere in between. So if you've got, like, if you're particularly strong at twin sticks and match 3s just fuck your world, you can adjust for that.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it was handy because there were some levels that I struggled to get decent scores on, and I was getting kind of irritated, and so I could just go into the difficulty and adjust it for whichever side was giving me more trouble, and then be able to get better times. And then I was happy and could carry on. You can replay the chapters as well, the samples, if you will, if you decide that you want to try a different sample once you've upgraded your ship with some of the research points. So your score that you rack up during each sample is converted into research points that you can go into a menu in between samples. And like you said, you can buy health, you can buy shields, you can buy different weapon upgrades like a laser or an EMP blast, or just a variety of different little tools to help you when it comes to actually playing. This game does get surprisingly difficult. I was really hoping I would beat the campaign at least before I did the review. I got pretty far. I'm near the end, but I definitely didn't beat it. You
tried.
I did, because even set down on easier difficulties, which I didn't do for every level, but some of the later ones I was like, this is hard. Some of the later levels I did lower it down, and I still had to replay a few different times. I knew it.
Ah, shit, dog's going crazy time.
He never fails.
So I guess overall for $8, what's your verdict on this?
This is a buy it. Like I said, especially anybody that's into like the biology geeky kind of stuff is really going to enjoy. The story is kind of laced in between the samples as you progress, and it's just they're going.
We almost made it. We almost made it.
We almost made it. The story is like really interesting, and then if you're not into the story at all, you can just skip it and just play and shoot shit to make yourself happy. So yeah, I give it a definite buy it.
Nice. I also enjoy the fact that it is a mix of twin stick shooter and match 3 puzzler. I enjoy that people are mixing genres a lot lately.
Right. When I saw that, I was like, how would that even work? And then it's surprisingly it feels very natural. Like you just pick it up quickly. And I was really impressed with how well the two genres matched.
Good stuff. Well, I guess that is it for this episode. Cole, thanks for coming on and helping me tackle the reviews. Another thanks to Stevo for coming and being my guest co-host earlier in the show that clearly we already recorded by the time we're doing this. And this is not all just horribly out of order. Cole, do you have any final words to end the show?
No, I never do. That would require me being witty, and I don't have that kind of functionality.